All right, it says we're live. Give it a few seconds. We'll check YouTube and make sure everything's a go. So we haven't shown up on YouTube just yet. Give it a couple seconds. All right, there we are. Getting rusty at this. All right, everybody, we're in. That's it. Sheed is here early. Greetings, Malika. Exclamatic. Super Triz back in the house. Welcome. Bokeem Woodbine. That's true. Tampa Supreme. Sir Anthony. Measly me. My boy Adrian. Yo, Adrian. AB Media. Samuel. Daryl. Opinionated. Juice. Jeff. Vernon. Craig, what's up, man? I see you got accessories for the bag. Oh, there's Cousin T.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Cousin T?
Hanging out. How about yourself, sir?
Pretty good, pretty good. No entanglements today?
No, I got those situated over the weekend. So
A long weekend, man. Hey, you might have to backfill, man.
we all celebrate, uh, Dr. Martin Luther the King in our own special way.
Okay. Oh man, so what up?
Oh man, just hanging out, getting ready for Friday. Uh, Hanging out with the field master on Friday,
Oh, okay.
chopping up some
Okay.
really good game. But
Okay.
and the main and in between, just staying alive. How about yourself?
Okay. Okay. You wanna uh promote it or pump it while you're up? Go ahead and pimp the event.
Uh,
Or is it
to-
already situated?
no, no. To my, I just shot Ram a text. He said that there's still some spots open, and actually,
Okay.
I'm gonna upload another promo for that a little
Oh,
later
okay.
tonight. So definitely, this is gonna be something that's well, it's already been well received. The first time that I presented it, there was a time restriction,
Okay.
so I wasn't really able to get as deep as I wanted to.
Hmm.
But what I had to do was go back and condense a lot of material to make it, uh, you know,
More
uh,
digestible, huh?
more palatable, and simplify the simplex, basically, because it's one of those things where you can get off into so many areas of how this thing can be applied to just our journey, the human journey, consciousness, what this is, what is reality, all these things, but to keep it in a straight line, but
Hmm.
also bring people along with you with how this can affect and should affect uh, uh, specifically us, but
Yeah.
leadership and stewardship of the culture going forward. That's
Yeah.
basically
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. My spiritual teacher always made sure that whatever kind of esoteric spirituality we actually got into or principle, it had to be grounded into real life at some point. How does this apply to real life? And that's the way I was taught. So, I mean, you probably can tell that my teachings is always grounded to what you're doing right there, right here, right now, and how you can actually apply it. Because it can be, we can get into theories, we can get into we can speculate about other things, but the thing is, if you can't bring it down to the human level to where how does this apply in my life and how can I use it to make it better or stop at least stop from making it worse. So
Yeah, stop for making it worse.
yeah,
That's the $1 million solution right there. And I mean, that's the best point of all. How do you simplify something and present it in a way that it can be applied to everyday
yeah.
usage? And I think in a video that you posted a couple weeks ago, you pretty much hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there are simplexes throughout society,
Mm-hmm.
and all around us all the time. One of the most famous simplexes is the equation E equals mc squared.
Mm-hmm.
um, most people know that, are familiar with that, but
Mm-hmm.
they don't know all of the cosmological um, math that goes into you know how that simplified version came to be.
Right.
And so it's a very powerful symbol at this point, and that's really at the essence of what this presentation is about, making a
Okay.
powerful symbol that can be used and applied um, in everyday life. So
Okay. All right. So you hanging out? Or you just want to chop it up a minute before I let the horde on?
yeah, that's up to you. I didn't know what the subject was.
Really, there isn't any. Basically, it's like a Seinfeld. Basically, it's a basically a stream about nothing. So it can, so in other words, where it goes is where it goes.
Gotcha. Well, I caught a little bit of yesterday's. I think you had there was a discussion about the age of the diesel.
Yes. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. You did send me something, a link, but yeah, but basically, it's a no brainer. Because like I said, I was when the I was 21, 22 when the crack era started in Los Angeles. 'Cause that was ground central for the crack era, and I saw how you see these chicks just start showing up on the street, man. So it didn't make sense until later on you find out exactly what it was, and then the reason was drugs, but now the reason is going to be economics, and it's if you dump that many women on the street, that's what you're going to get. And how is it going to affect society? How is it going to affect dating and mating? Because it if you had been alive in the 70s and saw the change from how women acted in the 70s versus say the 90s, some 10 years later, 10, 15 years later, it's dramatic what the crack era actually did and how it changed dating and mating, how it changed how women acted in just that short span of time. So you see a big event like this when you have, not just a subgroup like black women, even, the women that actually got turned out was a very tiny group compared to the rest of the nation. What's going to happen if it's a larger group when it's economic?
right. And I think that this is one of those spaces that has been trying to prepare the psyche of most men for, I think Rom introduced the term the shadow world.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, what I see is an acceleration
Yes.
of, a lot of the activities that once took place behind the scenes or in the
Mm-hmm.
shadows to be
Yeah.
presented,
Yeah.
on the mainstream.
Well, basically, it's the shadow world. When I was coming up as a teenager, it's been slowly creeping into mainstream over the past, I would say, 30, 40 years. So most of what we think of as the shadow world is probably almost like commonplace now, because the women don't even hide it anymore for the most part.
Yeah, and that's an interesting observation too, because while and that's a good question the person asked, but from my perspective, uh, from the male diesel side, there's
Hmm.
still guys who are interested in becoming entertainers, exotic entertainers.
Yeah.
There's still because there's still a market for it
Yeah.
because of how much
W- w-
wealth has
Women
been
have,
transferred to
yeah.
women.
Yeah, women have disposable income, so and they have been marginalized by the educational system. So they want to do things that men do.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
I think the talent, women, women for the most part don't really have to have as much talent as men do to do the same thing. Our male diesels, as I would call them, for lack of a better term, have to have more talent because they're going to actually be a smaller number.
That's a very good observation. I was literally on a consultation call maybe 3 days ago,
Hmm.
and that was what I was explaining to this one young man. You
Hmm.
know, um, from the male entertainer side, we have to present a fantasy, so we have to tell a story with our
Hmm.
presentation. Whereas a
Hmm.
woman, all she got to do is put on a bikini and make it clap.
Yeah.
And she's she's getting it rain put on. That's just one of the big differences between how a man is wired and how women are wired.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Basically, for a woman, a woman, as far as sex or sexual arousal, that's non-contact, especially, is through her brain first. And
Absolutely.
women, and then what they don't tell you, and this is just my opinion, what they don't tell you is women are far more visual than men actually are. They're far more discerning than
Yes,
men are.
and that goes all the way back to the savannah, right?
Yeah.
And depth perception, and um, the ability to micromanage,
Right.
and that's why women make better office managers because they know how to cultivate and manage relationships,
Yeah.
relationship dynamics better than men who we are more long term visual thinkers.
Hmm.
We look at the broader scope as opposed
Hmm.
to the micromanaging of those little things. But
Yeah.
that's one of the keys to um, an effective mouthpiece. I don't know how a lot of viewers fall on that particular subject in terms of
Hmm.
having a crisp mouthpiece or an astute mouthpiece, but that
Hmm.
all factors into it.
Yeah.
Your detail, your attention to detail.
I think that what I've learned and what I've been exposed to and what I've actually had to teach ultimately is that well, number one, first you got to be masculine. That's the first thing you have to be. Okay,
Correct.
because you have to get it because for a man you have to be able to control what your emotions, which is your anima. Okay,
Right.
and unfortunately, what they've been teaching boys is what's to do things in reverse. In other words, they teach boys to develop their animal or their emotional side, but it doesn't have a control center.
Correct. And you may have been getting to this point,
Hmm.
but there's certain key triggers
Hmm.
um, in men, and there's certain key triggers in women.
Hmm.
And for a man, uh, uh, presenting masculinity is
Hmm.
one of those triggers for women. Even the
Hmm.
most would be domineering, female version of an alpha or whatever.
Hmm.
Um, her her biological switches can be triggered with a convincing presentation of
Display. Yeah.
masculinity. She falls
Hmm.
right into place,
Hmm.
and that's all a part of the dance. It's all a
Yeah.
part of the way that you present yourself, your framing, the way that your words come across
Hmm.
to a woman. You know, triggers centers that most women
Hmm.
don't even realize they have, and they it's just like picking up a cat, by that little back piece of skin in the back.
Yeah.
It
They
automatically
go
falls
dead.
into
Yeah,
line.
yeah, they go dead. And yeah, they're basically if you can, well, women, if you can bypass a woman's logic and go to her emotional center, she's done.
Right. Um,
She
and
she's done. You might not be worth it to keep around because you don't know what you're going to unleash. But
correct, but that's but that falls in line with masculine mastery, gaining
Mhm,
mastery over your masculine journey. And
mhm,
one of the most important lessons that I try to promote is knowing what comes next, because emotions are about the moment. Emotions are important. That's how we interface as human beings. But logic is what gets you through that moment to the next
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And that's what compliance is about. That's how you gain compliance from a woman, knowing what comes next, what
Yeah.
happens beyond that moment of passion or emotional outburst,
Yeah.
or the feelings of it. Okay, now we're gonna do this next.
That's why for men, once first you have to be masculine, then you have to develop your anima, because your anima is the one that deciphers uh, the female side or the emotional side, and and that's how you know what comes next, even before she does. That's how you can actually decipher what she's trying to tell you, because well, because you work with them. Women speak an emotional language, and
I,
everything
I,
they do is about emotion and presenting emotion or trying to trigger an emotion.
and it's so interesting, that particular dynamic, because when you're trying to explain that to a man or a younger
Hmm.
guy, it doesn't make sense because we listen to the words, whereas women listen to the intonation.
Hmm.
So it doesn't matter what words you use in terms of uh, getting a point across to a woman, because it's all about how you say it, how
Hmm.
your voice intonation, your inflection,
Hmm.
your tone. Is it stern, is it soft? They can
Hmm.
sense that, and they pick up on that. Whereas with a man, we can just say what it is that we're trying to
Yeah.
say, and
Yeah.
we process it that way.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
big
We do.
difference.
It's a big difference. Yeah. Yeah. They process emotion before they process logic. While you're here, going back to what we're saying about the coming era of the diesel, it's going to come, but it's already started. Like you showed me a couple things, and no matter what level you're on, it's already started, because uh, when they're letting women go, firing women, or laying women off of jobs, stuff like that, they got to turn to something, and most women don't adapt very well. So they're going to turn to what tools they already have. So since there are going to be a lot of women with that mindset out there, how would you say that men should start? What skills you say men should start developing to actually approach and deal with these women, because they're going to have a different mindset than the normal, what you guys call the square world.
Yeah. It's going to take uh, it's going to take one heck of a learning curve for most men, because most men are still under the impression that um, that they can get a partner in a woman, and I don't think that that's really possible for the modern Western woman.
Hmm.
That whole partnership thing has to be removed from your mind. Um,
Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. That's what it is. That's going to be tough, because that's the way you were socialized. So.
Absolutely. But I think also men need to get a firm grasp on what currency is,
Hmm.
because historically, a woman's sexuality has been her currency.
Yes.
But in my world, that gets flipped. So for however many years, I've seen the other side of what currency is, and basically, it's about an exchange. So if women are have historically exchanged their
Hmm.
sensual or intimate access
Hmm.
for resources,
Yeah.
men have to rethink what the value of that exchange is going forward. Um, and you know, submission and compliance is going to be the new currency. Just like I don't know if you've delved into the realm of what actual currency will be going forward from fiat digital,
Hmm.
and to a system that's closer to what China has with the social currency.
It's going to be it's that's part of it. And if you really want to understand what social currency is, there's a book that I think Daniel Suarez that wrote it. It might have been Daniel Suarez that wrote it. It's called Damon.
Hmm.
That's what you get the idea from. I think it was written back in 2006 or 2007, and they actually he actually outlines what the digital social currency system is actually about. So if you want a really a good idea what it is, that's that's it. The Chinese is basically copying that system. But ultimately, what they really want to do is take the currency and the monetary system out of the hands of human beings, because
Mm,
human beings cheat, they lie, they steal, and if you build another one, they're going to figure out how to steal and lie and bring the system down. So what they want to do is eliminate the human element out of the currency system. So they figured AI can't do much worse than a human being, and AIs don't have a selfish motive because they don't, they're not trying to steal money. Okay, now not they don't need to get rich. So that's the next place that they're going with the new technocracy. If people actually adopt it, because I don't have to tell you that the capitalism, the way we've run it, is getting ready to. If it hasn't already hit the iceberg and start to sink, it's getting ready to.
right.
So, and they don't want to repeat what's gone on in the past. So that's how come they're going to eventually transfer it to a digital currency, and they're not going to let human beings run it.
That's and I'll take a look at that reference.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of sort of a return to not necessarily mercantilism, but
Oh no,
what the
we
exchange value
we
of anything is.
mercantilism never left. What do you think Nike's doing with their tennis shoes, right? Making them for 12 and selling them for 150. That's mercantilism.
Yeah, but the whole element of bad deals or making a
Uh-huh.
contract and not honoring a contract,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
whole concept behind needing collateral in the first place, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Due to so many contracts not being honored and bad wealth accumulation
Yeah.
on the side of the deadee and not the debtor.
Yeah,
Um,
and basically what we've been running for the last Jesus 500 years is basically a basic Ponzi scheme.
mhm,
How much
absolutely.
money can you extract before the system collapses? And and that's just humans. How much can they extract before the system actually collapses, and then they have to rebuild it. So that's what they're planning, trying to get away from. But we'll see how it works because it's never been done before.
So I think that's the perfect segue back into
Hmm.
the age of the diesel, right?
Hmm.
And if you take the OnlyFans example, right, there are a lot of content creators who are using that sort of as an example in oversaturated market, right? It started at what 6 million profiles, and now it's gone to what 95 million, and
Oh,
so
really?
the value that yeah that those are the numbers that
Gosh, Jesus Christ.
so so you don't have a lot of OnlyFans content creators making a lot of money. The value of that market has plummeted.
It's saturated. Yeah, I know what you knew it
Correct.
would. There's too many people trying to get in. And
And
but that's obvious. Same thing is going to happen to the street version of OnlyFans, for lack of a better term. It's going to get
right,
saturated. The price is going to plummet if it
right.
hasn't already.
And so that takes me back to arming men with sort of you know what is currency to you,
Hmm.
what is the value of the exchange of what you have for what you desire from the woman.
Hmm. Hmm.
um and it can't be this there's no longer an American dream. I don't know if I can say that out loud, but
Yeah, I say it all the time. Go ahead.
there's no longer this contract, this social contract between um, a woman who brings this virtuous existence to make your house a home.
Hmm.
There is, we've had the age of your competitor. She's competing in almost every field that men have historically had mastery over,
Hmm.
and now she's trying to reconcile what relationships mean to her, because now men are sperm donating. uh who's I think it's what Dr.
Oh,
Tison
Doctor.
Johnson, who
Yeah.
said the ConcuSurf, right?
Yeah, the ConcuSurf. Yeah, yeah. Well, hey, hey, that is literally alpha fucks beta bucks. Okay, the concubine and the surf. If you can, the perfect man is when you can get them both in one shot. That's the perfect man. You get a ConcuSurf, the physical concubine alpha, and the supportive, protective, providing surf. So
And the sort of reconciliation part is, what's the worth, what's the value, what's the end game to that for the average man? Is that
yeah,
what you want? Is that part of your mission? Is that going to service your reason for being here on the planet today in the
yeah,
first
yeah,
place?
yeah,
um,
yeah. We're gonna open it up in about 5 minutes, and uh, if cousin T-Tar wants to stay, he's welcome to stay. But I wanted to give him like 30 minutes to chop it up. I know there's stuff we need to talk about behind the scenes about other things that are going on, and we may even discuss it because I'm sure it's a hot topic. What's going on with the with the inauguration getting ready to happen in a couple days, and where the country's going.
oh
But
boy, yeah, 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 totally, totally. But I
which
mean,
yeah,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
No,
Oh
go ahead.
no, just bringing it back to what you said before with the age of the diesel.
Yeah.
If the online presence was any indication,
Uh-huh.
the real life version, it, there are going to be a lot of men struggling to reconcile reality, and
Yes.
what the meaning of everything is, because you have such easy access. So
Yeah.
they've had easy access to, sort of personalized video, um, video connection to women via OnlyFans. Now you're going to have easy access to a physical
Mm-hmm.
uh, presence of a woman in the real world,
Mm-hmm.
which historically, well, it depends on how far back in history you go, but
Yeah.
in the modern world hasn't been a thing for the
No.
majority of men. So
N-
now they have to
Yeah.
they get to see what's on the other side of easy sex.
Yeah, and basically, you've seen it in small pockets, like the black community in the '80s and early '90s. You see what's going on with Greece, because I actually did a video on Greece,
Right.
what they're going through with their era of the diesel. And I said this: if things play out the way I think they're going to play out, this is what you're going to look for, just on a bigger scale. Because even now, I think you got almost 150 million women in the United States, maybe a little more or less, but only less than a million of them are actually what I call diesels. Less than a
Mm,
million,
mm.
actually, in that propriety. What if you get 10 million or 15 million get dumped into this economy, or into the society? What is it going to look like, and what is it going to do to the rest of the society when basically the currency of the golden vag you know goes to almost zero? Like the video I showed about regardless of what you think about it, she want $2.60. She was willing to sell sex for $2.60.
Right. That is an interesting observation in and of itself, right there, because she was. So if you flip that on its head, right, and let's take the office fuck file. I don't know. If, my bad if I don't want to
Go
swear,
ahead.
but if
No,
you
no,
if you
yeah, no, go ahead. Go
okay,
ahead.
if you take, for example, the office fuck file, right,
Yeah,
and the UPS man who's
yeah,
got all the muscles and whatever, he's just delivering packages or whatever, and the office secretary or whatever, she makes it her business to get down to the mailroom because everybody knows he's coming,
yeah,
and she willingly jumps on the back of his UPS truck. You know what I'm saying? To give him, or and to receive,
yeah,
3 minutes of ecstasy,
yeah,
before pulling her pantyhose back up and go. That's a free exchange.
yeah.
So juxtaposing that with the $2 chicken wing, to exchange that energy, she's ready to exchange physical gratification for the price of a chicken wing. Whereas there are women, and you said 100 million, I would be willing to say, for the right guy, all of those 100 million women would exchange their intimacy for free. So
Oh yeah, well, yeah,
China,
yeah. But the thing is that, and I think what guys have it backwards. If you're going to be a concubine, basically you're servicing. She's not giving you anything. You're servicing. You're giving her. So just like she
that's
would, just like that's different. Basically, in my opinion, guys, that if you're going to be a concubine, it's going to be more than a couple of women. You got to get something for for your value, because you're servicing way too many women to actually come away with nothing. Don't give it away for free. That's
That's
what
the
I tell
secret.
guys. That's the secret.
That's the big
And,
secret. You're giving it away for free here.
you, you're giving it away for free. But what I'm saying is, a true diesel is not looking for pleasure exchange. She's looking to actually, that's her job, and it doesn't matter whether she likes the guy, feeling the guy or not. Okay, she gotta, she gotta do what she gotta do, and that changes the mindset of women. That changes how they look at men.
Right. So well,
And it was,
taking that,
uh,
I would say taking what you just said right there, going forward,
hmm
how that what that will do to society, and what the outlook, or what the perspective of women, the male female dynamic would look like going forward. I think it's going to there are going to be a lot of different um, permutations of a relationship. Right.
oh,
You'll
oh
have
yeah,
a
I've
lot
seen it.
of
I lived
poly.
through it, so I
Right.
know.
So you're gonna have harems, obviously,
Yeah,
uh, poly situationships. Um, but I think that women are going to become more industrious, right? They're gonna have to access more of their um, producer side,
yeah, they
right?
have to be, because the what they normally depend on um, won't have as much value anymore. So, in other words, what happens when gold goes to zero? Basically, okay, you can't use it as currency anymore. And guys, like I said, I was talking to the, I don't know if you heard that part where I was talking to the young guy who's in DC. And I said, if you spend, you know, go on 10 days, you spend $700. I said, and you actually access a chick as, a pussy as a service for
Mm.
10, 5, 10, $15. I said, how is that going to affect your dating, your dating situation? Where you think that the woman sitting across from you, that you may or may not be feeling, as far as personality wise, is it going to be worth $70 to $100 to get in her pants after the price of a vagina plummets like that,
Right.
or which you have to
Um,
bring more to the table than just sex?
Correct. And and a lot of things point back to that throwback to the productive housewife, or
Yes,
the productive
yes,
um, homemaker. That's well, that was the name, right? Pull that out the mothballs.
yeah.
That was actually a vocation,
Mm-hmm.
homemaking.
Homemaking, yeah.
What that means. But to go back to the video that you referenced in terms of Greece,
Mm-hmm.
um, it was either you either pointed that out in the video or in that article,
Mm-hmm.
where it it stated that even though the women were there in the brothels, servicing men, that they did not they mentioned that these were men that they were not turned on by,
Right.
which suggested that there still existed men that did turn those women on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
so
of course,
so
of
the
course.
triggers were still there. They still had the on and off switch,
Yeah,
and guys that do it for them.
yeah.
They just were in a situation where they had to make that money.
Yeah, they had to make it, but it still does it for them. But the thing is, even for the guys that do it for them, they're going to see that guy in a different way. Just like a cop. Okay, a cop sees so much shit. He cannot be a cop anymore. He's always going to be a cop because he's seen too much. Or a veteran that's gone to war, he's seen too much. It's going to change the way it's going to radically change your worldview. You know,
Correct.
one
Um,
one question before we let everybody else on,
yeah.
uh, is have you watched the series P Valley?
You know what?
Yes, no, maybe.
I haven't seen the entire. I saw it when it first started.
Okay.
I so it was funny. A lot of the things, a lot of the elements that exist or existed in the first few episodes,
Uh-huh.
I definitely wrote about.
Okay.
But I've made those observations that yeah,
Is
those
it?
women are highly trained to
Okay.
scan, analyze, and to weed out the money
So,
man from the
so
pretenders.
this is a good time to actually give people your patron, okay? Because I know it's not in public, so you don't have to tell me if you want to learn the inner secrets of being an alpha alpha wingman. You need to go to his Patreon because I'm sure that's probably where it is. I'm sure it's not in public. So
No,
so if you
absolutely. Y- yeah,
so
no.
basically, if you want that information about because I'm actually going to start reviewing I'm actually reviewing a P Valley because before it wasn't that important. What I need to understand more about diesel size because we're going to have more of them, and I need to really get into uh, some of their lives, not just necessarily what they do as a profession, but also how they live their lives. So if you do have one of these women or one of these women actually coming out of that business or out of that situation. Okay, gotta understand that she's not gonna be the same person as before she went in. You gotta understand how you deal with her and how you relate to her because it's gonna change. That's like I always put diesels on the other side of the what I call the regular square life because they're gonna operate differently, even on a relationship basis.
Yeah, you know what's interesting though,
Hmm.
and I don't know how much time you want to give to this observation, but in alignment with the octane scale,
Hmm.
there are levels of diesel,
Yeah,
right?
I
From
put three. What do you say? I say three.
I
Or
mean,
or,
I think
or does it mirror the square world?
I know, right? That's a good question because you got everything from, like you said, the streetwalk. I think you called it a strawberry the other
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
all the way up to
The high
the
high
hike.
cost
Yeah,
call
the
girl.
escorts, the
Yeah,
Dubai women,
yeah.
who, I mean, man, look, Mariah Carey came up on what 300 million from that Prince, right?
Well, look at
So,
Janet Jackson. She got a half a bill.
right, so there's levels to it.
Hmm.
It's definitely an interesting observation, and I think being in that space, um, and I don't want to go too far, go all over the place, but there's this one James Baldwin quote that
Hmm.
one of our great ancestors, right,
Hmm.
where he says to be
Hmm.
black and conscious in America is
Hmm.
to fight for your sanity or something like that, but
Yeah, yeah. It to be in a constant state of rage. Yeah.
constant state of rage, right?
Hmm.
So I would say that to be a man in a diesel world of relative consciousness
Hmm.
is is to have dueling sort of um, uh, ideas towards women, right?
Hmm.
Because you fully get to see both sides of women. The
Hmm.
submissive housewife who is at the beck and call, who could can't do enough for the man of her dreams that she loves. This is her,
Hmm.
rock, her lead, you
Hmm.
know, wash his feet, all that stuff. But the
Hmm.
other side, let it go to a bachelorette party.
Hmm. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So
That, that's
trying to go ahead.
that's the. A lot of guys don't like that part of the black pill. They
Right.
can't reconcile it.
But this is all the same person. It's just
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and it's crazy too when you look at a woman holistically, right? When you
Yeah.
understand that, um, and I was supposed to do a video called the pressure of perception. Like, men have the burden of performance, but
Yeah.
women are under constant pressure to put out a specific or certain type of
Yeah. Yeah.
perception.
Yes.
And being privy to both sides of that dynamic can really mess with your mind unless
Yes.
you're solidly whole
Yes.
within yourself. You have to be a mature man within yourself in
Yes.
order to to be able to accept that.
Basically you have to you have to swallow the black pill to really be able to accept it and
Agreed. Agreed.
or have lived that life where you've been around women and see the side that they don't tell you about.
Yes. because they you know
Yeah.
they line up men according to size. They
Yes.
they talk, they discuss,
Yes.
kitty cat eating
Yes.
connoisseurs.
Oh yeah.
They they talk about hygiene. They
Yeah.
talk about pegging guys, pegging their bosses in the boardroom. They talk about uh, being flown out for specific reasons, for
Hmm.
for names of men that you can't repeat. Let me just put it that way.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. And those are the ones that are lucky enough to be able to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, I think. But I'm curious to hear what the three levels of diesel
Oh,
you've
okay.
identified.
Okay. I think I outlined them for you. Basically, the three grades, right? There's the common streetwalker, they call 'em strawberry, they call them renegade hookers, that kind of stuff, right? Common
Hmm.
level, even some of the low level hookers that actually have a John or something like that. Okay,
Hmm.
that the street level is like grade one. Okay, mid grade would be more like for the entertainment like strippers, part time call girls, uh, the back used to be the back page girls,
Hmm.
uh, even the entertainers, nude entertainers that show up on OnlyFans or show up on X video doing their thing. That's how they make their money. And
Okay.
then the higher grade, which is what I call the jet fuel, right, is the women that can't talk. Okay, the
Mm.
ones that service the upper class dudes, the CEOs, the masters of the universe, the high level entertainers. Uh,
Right.
those are even up even you see them sometimes on Instagram, the Instagram models that
Yes.
only service the very, very tip top. And those are the ones that get flown out to Dubai. Those are the ones that will go to NBA City and park in a hotel, and the manager and the other and three other the players will actually come in and take turns, stuff like that. That's at a higher level. And then at the tip top of that is basically the high level call girls that doesn't mess with anybody that doesn't have the CEO label. In fact, I think it's called Margin Call, where he says he was a trader who made like $2 million a year, and he spent like $400,000 on what he called entertainment.
Mm.
Basically, those are the high level call girls and escorts and stuff like that. So those are my three
Gotcha.
levels. Those are my three levels.
Okay,
You know,
that makes sense. That
yeah,
makes sense. And they know they have to. They have their own boot camps.
yes,
They
yes,
have to learn how to comport themselves.
yes,
How to sit with their legs crossed at a black tie affair, or
yes, yeah, yeah,
which fork to eat with.
yeah,
Uh, okay, I think was it you were in that what was it, a barbershop that Ron was hosting,
yes.
where I told you guys about that one sugar baby who lost her passport, who
Oh yeah,
I think
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
she
Oh
called in
yeah,
from
made
the
a call. Yeah,
from the French consulate.
yeah. Yeah,
Like,
and made a call and got it and got it next day to her location. Yeah,
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 and
but I wouldn't classify her as a diesel. She's just 100 octane.
yeah, definitely 100 octane, and
Yeah,
that I mean, she's got stories. I mean, like you think, I mean, there are. I didn't even. I'm surprised every time I hear her tell stories. They're like Congolese oil guys.
yes.
Like there are actual, like, African trust fund babies
Oh yeah, yeah.
who
Tons of 'em.
have jets and private
Yeah,
airstrips.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Their daddies are billionaires. Yeah.
yeah, so that's a whole other
Yeah.
world.
But
So
that's another level. That's in the what they call Craig usually call them gold collar workers.
okay,
Yeah. So those are people that shape nations. These aren't
right,
they're above the 0.1%. So
yes,
sometimes even these guys are even above what we call a Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs or even you know you know they have power and money. Okay.
Right. They got a money printer
Yeah,
their back closet. Okay.
yeah.
Right.
They
Yeah.
own nations. They don't own
There you
they
go.
don't just
Right.
own
Right. Right.
corporations. They own nations.
Right. They have their own fiefdoms.
Yeah,
Gotcha. Cool.
yeah.
Yep. That makes sense. Oh, they're asking when they can jump in.
Oh yeah, they
I
can jump
think.
anytime.
Okay,
Cousin,
yeah. What's going on, Big Jess? I don't know the other two brothers on the
that
panel.
that, that is cousin Tita.
Okay, nice to meet
Yeah,
you.
yeah. The alpha wingman, and that should be Michael. They live should be Michael. If you
Okay,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. The price of pussy is going down. You know, my business is taking a hit.
it
Yeah,
it,
my business
it,
is taking a hit.
it is. You know, I was trying to warn people. Is as soon as it was going to happen anyway because automation
Oh yeah,
was going to actually eat away slowly at it anyhow. The thing is COVID accelerated everything,
oh
and
yeah,
it's going to put women in dire straits, and even if they don't get put on the street, it's going to put them pretty close,
oh
and
yeah,
they're going to have to make up for it somewhere. So you're going to have, it won't be just women that are addicted to substance. You're going to have way more women that would do are doing something they wouldn't ordinarily do.
yeah.
And
And
we have nurses, you have nurses basically becoming OnlyFans
well, you did you see
account.
that? I did that on the stream
Mhm,
a couple of weeks ago. I think in November or something like that.
mhm,
Before that report came out
mhm.
in December, about like 100% of the people that got laid off were women.
Yeah,
In December, that article about how the paramedic, she had an OnlyFans, like she
yeah,
was in New York, she had Ground Zero, she running and ripping, and then she got to do an OnlyFans, but they're
yeah,
talking about a whole bunch of other things or whatever. I was talking to a couple of you know what I'm saying, of the people I work with and stuff, and and they was telling me like, man, we done got a bum rush of the chicks that retired. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? They coming back. They
yeah,
begging to come back because
yeah,
this thing is ridiculous. The kids, what I mean, home, and I live in a starch patriarchy. You know what I'm
mhm,
saying?
mhm,
Patriarchal was hell in this motherfucker.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Man, hey, listen, old Sasuke here is sending motherfucking Yuki back to work. He ain't
yeah,
playing. Like,
yeah. It's basically it's affecting the global economy, not just here.
yeah,
And
Mm-hmm.
women are going to take a hit. In fact, that's why me and Craig, the tech guy, jokingly said we're going to start a service called rent a homosexual, right?
oh
Because
yeah,
they need to work and they need somebody at home, and so so if you're going to have you can have a homosexual that actually fills all those needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
Your emotional labor because you need to come home and tell a man all your problems and shit. You need him to go ahead and lay some little pipe, and you need the guy to be there when little Johnny has to get online for his class, okay? Because you're not going to be there, so he has to
yeah,
for the Zoom class. Make sure little Johnny gets his homework. Make sure little Johnny attends his Zoom class, and then maybe clean up a little bit. Hell, if you
yeah,
get a if you give him enough, he might even cook for you, right? Get used to the family car, so he run errands for you. Run a homosexual, right?
yeah.
Run
Look,
a homosexual. So you're breaking up, AL. You're breaking up, AL. You're breaking up.
AL,
You're
you're
breaking.
breaking up.
You're breaking up very bad, AL.
you got the Uniblad going.
Hey,
But
Yeah.
what's going on, fellas?
There we
What's
go.
up?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? Nothing much, man. I want to hop on right quick, man. Y'all gonna stop talking about my bitches, man. These nurses out here suffering. We ain't got no work out here, man. We ain't got no sick people out here, so we suffer. They need to be on the OnlyFans.
What the thing is why we got the diesel whisperer here, man. We got to take
Hey,
advantage.
hey, cousin T Tall, man. My girlfriend's a nurse, man. So we were just talking about this the other day, and we were
Uh-huh.
talking about how I said, hey, why doesn't the hospitals allow for other nurses in other departments to transition into the ICU and make it blah 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 blah? And she goes, they do. I said, oh, so basically what you're saying is these bitches don't want to fucking work. And she's like, nah, these bitches don't want to work. She's like, man, they giving out $1,000 bonus days, 500 bonus days, extra 250 on a day. I was like, are you serious? She's like, man, you can make a killing right now,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're ICU or if you're doing some kind of COVID unit.
Yeah,
Working in a
but
COVID
that's extremely stressful, man. And
Yeah, there you go. And the risk is
some of,
wild.
well, the
No, I
risk with
agree with
thing
that.
is,
But what I'm saying is you can at least do 1-2 days a week still
yeah,
BGS as opposed to being a OnlyFans. That's
yeah,
my whole thought process.
you
But like
most
you said
people,
before, the exchange of your reputation for
yeah,
the exchange
most,
of your reputation for
yeah,
even
yeah,
more. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
That's a really good point. And I think that I don't know who brought this up in a recent video, but I think it's one of those fears of missing out, and a lot of women are trying to catch the wave before that wave dissipates. Like they want like this seeming 100 octane lifestyle before it all crashes and burns, and
Yes,
they
they do.
probably see this as their final opportunity
Yeah.
before something this all goes away to
Oh,
to
wow.
live
You ain't
that to live that life.
Hey, cousin T talk, life raft on the Titanic, and they're fighting for him.
You ain't lying though. I saw an article, true story. A pastor turned into an OnlyFans star.
Oh yeah,
That shit white
Cousin
chick.
T talk sent me that one. So yeah, he's on it
I
already.
was like, really?
Yeah.
No, BJ, I got a question here, right? You know what I mean?
Yes,
'Cause
sir.
this is where we you know what I mean, this is you kind of look far with it, right?
Mhm.
Because I think the whole body positivity, this was a part of the body positivity trick bag. Like,
Not
you
really.
know,
Not
well,
really.
I mean, like this COVID made it like past that, right? I'm just saying thinking on a hypothesis, so I'll expand on it.
Okay.
What I'm thinking here, right, is your whatever I mean, whenever a product comes out, right, and if it's
Mhm.
hard for you to push that product out, you got to do R&D stuff like that, right?
Mhm.
Only a select group of people can get that product, right?
Right.
But then when you make that product in surplus, right, and people start accepting lesser grade of that total product, then
Mhm.
there's grades to the product, right? Like they make a iPhone 8 versus an iPhone 12,
Right.
right? You got 128 gigs versus 64 gigs,
Mhm.
right? So what I'm thinking is when they started pushing this body positivity thing where everybody's accepted, you can't fat shame or you can't have these type of standards, right?
Mhm.
Then you say women can do whatever they want, right?
Mhm.
They have this freedom, but they don't understand the long-standing repercussions. There
Mhm.
are more women in the workforce than men.
Mhm.
This comes in. This is a way to reset the balance. Now, like cousin T said, T Talk said right here is that they're going to jump on the wave because, like you say, it's the attention plus you make the money, so it's the 100 octane lifestyle. Even though they're probably like 82 at best.
Okay. What cousin T-Tar is saying is that
Yeah,
the reason they're jumping on the wave is because basically there's a hole in the balloon, right? And if
yeah,
they don't jump on it now, it won't be there.
yeah,
Okay. Now,
exactly.
and
Yeah.
these are not just these are not the women that low level. These are
Oh,
women at
yeah.
the higher. So
Yeah,
basically, there's going to be less and less of these 100 octane guys.
exactly. And so,
Yeah,
So
I was
the
listening. I was
competition.
talking with my girlfriend on the way.
yeah, but,
Yeah, I was talking with her on the way here, and I said, so we were talking about that dynamic of, because she was saying, so she's made a comment about, she goes, well, I said, in a couple of years, I would like to travel and get out of this country.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh, okay. And she's like, why do you say it? Because you're a black man. I was like, no, sweetie. I said, in the next 20 years, black men are going to be doing very well here in the United States of America. And she goes, you think so? I said, the number one show on Netflix is a black man with a white woman.
Mhm.
They're promoting it and pushing it. And I said, and black squawking, they're squawking because they see it coming.
I see it coming. Yeah.
Like BJ said before, $8,000 is $8,000, man. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck what you say.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so he was like, yes, I guess you're right. I said, look at Amari Hardwick. I think it's Amari Hardwick. Who's
Yeah.
my man on Power? Is that his
Yeah.
name? Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, look at his wife. His wife was ugly. He got a basic white woman. She she backed him though. And
Yeah,
look what he got now. And look
yeah,
what he.
yeah. She was with him when he didn't have anything. So
Mhm.
men actually value loyalty more than women do.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's a really good point that he brought out as far as
Yep.
what mainstream is promoting right now.
yeah.
Because obviously, what accelerated the age of the diesel was the media portrayal of hoes that win, right?
Yeah.
Cardi B, what is it now, Lori Harvey? Even though they're on a different edge of the spectrum. It was
Yes.
Sierra at one point. She won. They were portraying all of these
Hmm.
women who technically weren't projected to end up where they were, which is quote unquote on top in the mainstream, as being on top because they sold their sensuality in order to
Hmm.
get there. The promotion of Love and Hip Hop in its various iterations was really portraying that if you know how to package your vagina properly, you can get on and stay on. But we're
Yeah.
coming to the end of that.
The Kim Kardashian way to success.
Right.
Yeah, you have a lot of that being represented in that whole idea of sex positivity, I suppose. They really push that in the intersectionalist and feminist spheres, especially online.
Hmm.
Gentlemen, I've seen literally a flood of girls that just turned 18, put it
Hmm.
on their IG, just turned 18,
Hmm.
check out my OnlyFans. I mean, you've
Hmm.
got girls now that are waiting, literally waiting to turn 18 so they can open up an OnlyFans before they even fill out a college application.
Yeah.
They're not even thinking about looking for work. They're not even thinking about going to college. They're literally just waiting for 18
And,
so that they can open up their OnlyFans account. And
they're
I've
trying.
seen I've seen
They,
25. I've seen 25 girls that just turned 18.
Mhm.
Like scroll down my IG, like when you go into the like the just the random pics, and it's crazy.
Daughters of the trade, and it's a trade. What is the oldest trade in human history? It's
and
just
and, and,
trade.
it's, and, it's, and it's getting worse because now that it's been popularized and meteorized, now it's like literally you gotta find the girl that's not popping a pussy
A hoe.
online.
But the thing is, it's not just being popularized. Basically, the environment, the financial environment is pushing these women towards it, and what they're
Yeah.
trying to do is make it more palatable.
Well,
Because
that
if
was
if they don't,
Your girl
no,
needs.
if they do not try to do that, you're going to find a lot of women overdosing on drugs because it's not an
Yeah.
easy one way for not easy thing for a woman to actually sell her body. It's not as easy as you think.
right.
Your girl Nepat Kamala is trying to legalize
She
prostitution
has to.
nationwide. So
What
But
would you,
that's
okay?
part of the agenda. Like
What,
that's
what,
been. Go ahead, BTS. I'll
what would
jump
you
in.
do? Okay, Mr. Darku, what would you do, man? You got chicks that you can't find jobs for, and they're gonna be put
Mhm.
on the street without jobs. The only thing they have is what?
three words. I always say 3 words, one phrase. Let them suffer. You know what
What?
I'm saying?
Right,
Sharia
but
law.
we're talking
You,
about it from a
you
nation building
cannot you
standpoint,
cannot let
right?
them suffer because they're citizens just like everybody else. You got to give either you take care of them or as a state, or you got to give them a way of means to actually eat. You
Give
can't let
give
the
them give, give,
it,
give them give them give them to the Nation of Islam. You know what I'm
it
saying? They're
doesn't
always looking for women to help.
Well,
Nation of
here's
Islam
the
can't take them like that, man. They're not big
it's just like Andre was bringing up earlier.
enough. Mhm.
This whole entire idea of being able to accept sex work
Yeah.
as work has been in the makings for at least the last 6 years at minimum, setting
Yes.
this up. And I think it goes back to what BS was saying a couple minutes ago about how COVID escalated everything. And it's why
Yeah.
BS, we always end up back to this point you said before about the environment.
Yeah.
You can't outrun it.
No.
And so with COVID acting as a co-opter to aggregate the situation and basically force Briffel's law into full motion.
Yeah.
What is their goal as women? They need to secure that nest by any means necessary. And they understand that where women go, men are going to follow. So long as there's a vector of money flowing through, which this will provide, even with the diminishing returns we have, it will at least put people on the table, and it's probably going to set the stage for what we're seeing now with this idea of universal income, which is why people need to pay attention to Andrew Yang's run for New York
Oh,
potentially.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, and this and
So,
to
so,
say
so what are we? So what are the feminists going to do now that after 50 years of running around and trying to be on the same level as men, they basically whittled down the level of pussy to the point that it's just
Feminism failed in 2012 when when their own people, their own feminists that they trained, did not want to accept being a provider role. They didn't want to accept it. So basically, if you don't want to accept being a provider role, a equal role as a man would have in taking care of a family, then it failed. It's failed.
Yep.
That's a
Everything that
very good point.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
good
lady
point.
put out an article back in 2016 stating she said she was hugely disappointed because in pretty much every area of society, women have accepted equality, except for one, dating and mating. They refuse to do a 50-50 relationship. They
hmm
refuse.
Now
yeah,
you fit.
And
But
some,
basically, if basically, if you're gonna, you can't. Everybody can't be CEO, and a CEO can't be CEO without
yep,
somebody at home. Otherwise, you're not gonna have a household. So she's gonna have to accept supportive males. And the thing is that their psyche, at least heretofore, has not been able to actually rectify that. So basically, what feminism actually laid out has actually failed. That's like
yeah.
we have so many women that are in their late 30s, early 40s, even 50s with dogs. That's like Kevin said.
And cats.
Cats, you're gonna die alone.
But
That's
but
why.
but 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 you know that America is not like Europe, is not like other places
Yes,
where
it is.
yeah,
It is.
yeah, but there isn't a culture. There isn't a
Yes,
culture.
it doesn't. It has nothing to do with
No, no,
it.
no. I'm not talking. Busy. I'm not talking about feminism. I'm talking about the culture of prostitution being just
Yeah, it is.
mainstream. I mean,
Yeah, it
they,
is.
they've been trying to hold this back
Damn,
forever. There's going to
that's
be
exactly
it's
what
literally going to
happened
be an
after the
atomic bomb
plantation.
that's going to go off when all these 18-year-old girls that are on OnlyFans, when
We,
when they can't make
You,
$1,000 a week and they're making $100,
you
and they're going to
already.
They're
You,
already able to do that. Look, the
dude.
current
uh,
system.
we've already seen. Okay.
mm,
There's a reason I point out parallels, right? I've
mm,
been telling you guys this for goddamn for like 5 years. I've been telling y'all this. I've already seen it in a small scale, right? It's called the crack era. That's why I keep pointing to it. I've already seen this. I already know what's getting ready to happen because I've already seen on a small scale. That's how I'm actually go look at the second season of Snowfall when the crack actually hits and these shit actually get turned out, and what happens to relationships after that happens. I was in the middle of it. I was in my 20s when this shit happened. I saw how it affected how I thought
mm,
about uh, uh, relationships with women. I've
mm.
already seen it. We already know what's going to happen. Go look at Greece. Greece is going through it exactly what the black community went through in the 80s and the early 90s. The exact
Yep.
same thing when the price of vagina went to almost zero, man. So
Mm.
that chick selling her sex for two chicken wings to eat.
Yep.
Okay, it's one thing.
Literally.
One literally, if it's one thing, if you keep it to a few 100,000 women, which is what happened in the crack era. What happens when you get 10 or 15 million? What's it going to do? Okay,
And
that's never happened anywhere. Even in Europe, it's not. It doesn't happen that way.
yeah,
Greece is in.
We need to keep in mind how modern society pretty much really helps subsidize a lot of this stuff also.
Yeah,
yeah,
well,
So we've
and
got
they
the
was,
infrastructure for that to happen here more so than anywhere else because of that.
well, here's the thing, right? And then let me, and this is what I'm going to say to because, and this is the thing that people, a lot of people, they want things, but when they get things, they don't want the things that come with the things that they ask for.
yeah, of course.
So niggas are screaming they want a patriarchy, right? But guess what? In most patriarchies, prostitution is legal.
hmm
Y'all don't. A lot of motherfuckers don't get that shit, which is blowing my motherfucking mind. Like, like people want the things in these other countries. You want the control of the women, but you don't understand what comes with the responsibility of that.
Of course
And
not.
that is one of the things is prostitution is fucking legal.
Well, the thing is that okay, all societies are formed differently. Of course, you
Yeah.
can't. In a liberal society, it's not going to be that way. A patriarchal society is an authoritarian society. Okay, you can't have what goes on in Japan and in
Mhm.
China and Korea in Singapore happen in the United States because European societies are very liberal. It's not going to happen like that. You basically, it took Japan and China and Korea thousands of years to become an authoritarian society. It just happened overnight.
Yep. Yeah.
In their stages to that, the way they have to respond to modernization. But I think that's why,
and then the women have to agree to it. It's not a one-sided thing. The women actually are actually socialized to accept that kind of society.
which is why it's worth looking at what separates us in the United States from everywhere else, especially when it comes to Western culture. Again, we've enjoyed having this superpower status for a while. We've enjoyed, well, we'll say we, but the women in this country have had a state-sponsored lifestyle that was originally predicated on being able to double dip into the population to tax it. But now there's ramifications where they have squeezed it so much, they're trying to get water out of rocks. So if they don't provide a modality for women to really do what they want to do with regards to like that, they're not going to have any momentum to go anywhere with this country and still maintain the ability to keep up with other people because they're not running into the same kind of
So right now we're talking basically we're talking the end
non-cooperation, I guess. You know.
So right now we're talking about the end of any level of relationships. I mean, marriage is pretty much done. I mean, we know that, but I mean, even just a basic relationship now is going to be completely transactional because at this point,
unless you have a cultural unless I just want to say this on it out. Unless you have a cultural bubble to create an artificial environment to buffer from what's going on the outside and keep control of that individual sphere. And to be honest with you, I don't see too many groups of people able to do this unabated.
And basically, what's going to happen is, it'll become partially transactional, but men really don't want a transactional relationship with women.
Exactly.
So men and women will start to look for other things. Other things will have to be expressed because the teacher can tell you, even with diesels, where they live in a transactional environment as far as sex is concerned, they have to find other things other than the sex to have a relationship.
Yeah, they usually try to structure a family life that becomes the central sort of focus of their work. So they keep the two historically they've kept the two away from each other. The only men that they allow to see their family members, are a very select group of men. The other men are tricks, they're Johns, or playthings or whatever outside used for money. But what becomes extremely valuable to a diesel is something that she has that is stable, some sense of stability. And I forgot who mentioned a cultural bubble, but I think that's a valid theory. If you look at that season, what was it called, Midwife or something like that, where they had an extreme return to ultra conservative,
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, Handmaid's Tale, exactly. Right, exactly. So you've got women who are in a convent style situation where they're banding together under the authority of wealthy individuals who can afford to keep them fed, clothed, and sheltered under the guise that they'll be the ones that are handling the domestic duties. So what I forgot his name, what he just mentioned as far as the cultural bubbles appearing, I don't think that's too far out of reality.
I just say that because it reminds me of the harem system we saw being used aggressively in antiquity and expressed in a lot of ways now. But I think if we've got the state sponsoring that, acting as the literal sponsor, we'll probably see more situations like that socially play out. And if you want to see a softer version of that, I think the phenomenon that we're seeing going on now with the sugar babies, especially with these kids coming out of college, I think we're going to see a lot more of that, at least in the initial stages. I can tell you right now, there's probably way more of that going on now that locations in places like OnlyFans are really hitting that point of diminishing returns where the market is so flooded. They want that sponsorship now.
Yeah, if they can get it.
If they can get it, correct.
There's going to be a competition for even that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all of it's going to turn into an aggressive market pretty soon, and that's why
Well, yeah, that's
it's an interesting position for us in certain ways.
Yeah, a flash of
the
60-inch
main
flat
reason why I'm
screen.
talking.
A 60-inch flat screen cost like $100,000 when I first saw them. Guess what they cost now?
Right.
Yeah, we can't fly.
No, and
There's
that's what I
right.
told.
Yeah,
That's what I was telling. That's what I was telling my girl today about black men in America. At the
Mhm,
end of the day, like you just said, we're socialized. I talked to
mhm,
my girlfriend. She says, "Man, if you did 10% of what you did for your wife, your ex-wife,"
mhm.
she's like, "Man, I'd be off to the fucking moon." You get what
yeah.
I'm saying? Women are going to start competing for dues, and at the end of the day, even Officer Charles has said black men have some of the are the trash collectors of the dating world.
Mhm.
The
And so,
garbage men of the dating world.
yep. So I told her, I said, look, she's divorced, she's got kids. I said, I'm
Mhm.
divorced, I got kids. But she was telling me about this brother that was hitting on her.
Mhm.
And so I wasn't trying to put her down, but I was telling her, she said, this dude's a sheriff, black guy, sheriff, built like a Greek god. And I was thinking about Charles about it. And she said, this dude was hitting on me. And I said, if he was white, would he be hitting on you? She said, no. I said, if he's Hispanic, would he be hitting on you? She said, no. I said, that's why black men are the trash collectors today. A dude
Ooh.
looking like that, built like that, got his career together. There's a level of programming and insecurity built
Yeah.
into that motherfucker.
Yes. Yep. That is
I
true.
like to say for the record,
I said, don't get me wrong. And if you're not smart enough to get them, that's on you. But I'm just telling you, you know.
Mhm.
I like to say for the record, I don't even take my own trash out. Fuck that. So, I'm sorry.
Charles, salute, fam.
What's up? I don't even take. I fuck of that. Like, it's just as bad as so many girls be telling me about big girls. Big girls are nice people.
Yeah, they used to be.
Well, now I said, first of all, me and the struts can't take it anymore. No, no, no. I said, first of all, I said, number one, I think big girls have a great use. It's just romance and relationships are not them. Now, for my Ravens, we could probably use a couple of their big asses as centers because they could probably snap the
Ain't
ball
shit.
very well.
Yeah,
I mean,
right. Fuck
I
that, man. I'm mad about
mean,
that.
shit. But you know what kills me is that I have a homegirl who sends me all kinds of shit about. Well, this guy, he married a fat chick. I said, look at the guy. He's about 2 steps away from Quasimodo. He was friend zoned from since they met when she was 6 and he was 8. I mean, he was in a phantom zone screaming, I'm gonna get you for this, son of Jarrell, okay? That's how deep in the friend zone he was. As soon as she finds herself with a baby or with her child, a child or two in the woman's shelter, here comes Captain Save-A-Ho. She's not as pretty as she used to be anymore. Or from the pictures I've seen, I never thought that she was any close to being pretty, but I digress. He puts her in a 2-garage house with 5 bedrooms.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, and he bought her a matching BMW because he went to the military, got a government job when he got out, nice working. And I'm like, why the fuck would you even exalt and elevate such a bum bitch? But then I had to go back into my lab, take a seat, play Madden, drink some cognac, and then take a shot of scotch. And I was like, voila, I figured it out. Niggas are so fixated on the bitches that they do 20 years ago that they can't see any higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but they've been imprinted, so that's where the imprint comes.
Well, when the imprint when the imprint went from looking like Bria Miles and now she looks like George Foreman after the comeback.
Yeah, but you still imprinted on her, so you're still gonna desire no matter what she looks like.
Yeah,
Oh,
because
Lord.
it's about the fantasy. It's about the first. It's like a heroin addict, Charles. You know how this works,
Yeah.
man. Yeah.
And more importantly, it's about.
And for the record, I've only tried heroin. I'm joking. I never tried it.
Yeah.
No, but it's for
You know, the things that be
those
leaning
type of
next
dudes
to Mark.
Hey, go ahead, cousin Tita, and then Michael.
No, go
No,
ahead.
I was going to say that's a really good point. That is a very good point in terms of the type of men who are not able to get certain women or certain females when they were in high school and coming up in high
Yeah.
school, and now they suddenly find themselves in position to leverage whatever they've built in life to get that experience. That's a
Yeah.
powerful thing. It's a
Yeah.
powerful observation.
Yeah. Well, women go through it too, so it's not just men. I hear it all the time with women. Why you get hooked up with a certain guy? So that's just human nature. Go ahead, Errol.
You're somebody called me.
No,
Hell, you backing up really
you're
bad,
breaking up
man.
really bad. You're gonna have to find a different spot, Errol.
God damn, you sound like for one stuff for man, one giant leap for Negro kind.
Go ahead, Michael.
No, but what I was saying was in terms of I lost my train of thought. AL done got me all jacked up with that connection over there. I didn't know if he was DJing or what over there. No, but now Charles is right, man. A lot of these guys out here, if they just at least my whole thing is hold off for just a tad bit longer. The competition is gonna start competing for these homeboys. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only thing I can hope and pray that will override their programming as they get lucky. You
Well,
follow me?
one thing about that is also a lot of guys think too much like their mamas. They think that they don't understand that you also have to be physically attractive at some level.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as predicated as it is for us to women, but if a woman likes me because of the way I look, I'm not mad at it. There's times people argue, even some of my friends, if I was built like you, I said, you can be. You probably be built better. Work out.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a friend of mine. He works out like crazy. I don't know if he still does or stopped. He dropped some pounds, but you can't work out and then eat for a family of 4 either, because it's counterproductive. So a lot of guys, make themselves out to be self-fulfilling prophecies. Look at the incel community. Oh, this girl don't want me, so I'm not gonna wear deodorant. Like, god
Yeah.
damn, man.
Yeah. You basically black men have a bad self-worth problem because they've been beaten down by the females in their family to
Look, if my
have a
son
slave
went
mentality.
to my son went, so he was here with me for 6 months. Now this boy already done changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So then he went to go see his mom for a little break, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Came back. I said, "How was it?" He says, "Man, it's too comfortable." I said, "I bet they was walking contradictions, weren't they?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, they would say one thing, but they wouldn't do it." You know what I mean? And so, but I told him, I said, "You're just gonna have to see that." And I said, "You cannot walk into the world thinking like no woman. They get stuff because of their body." I said, "Don't let them." I said, "My whole thing about this, women just don't know. They know, man. Y'all got to stop treating them like they are adults. They
Well,
actually probably know that before you do.
it,
You know what I mean?"
this the environment is going to change all of that, man.
Yeah.
When it doesn't have any value or the value that it used to have, what happens? Well, people put their old flat screens out on the street when they get a new one, right? Even though it still
Yes.
works. But the thing is, that's how it's treated now, because now it's a commodity, and it's a low cost commodity.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, shit. Bitches don't even want money anymore. They just want chicken boxes. Like, God damn. Like, they really, they feel,
Two
they
pieces
feel.
of chicken.
Nah, they just want 5 wings and fries. Sometimes, Western fries, and
Yeah.
they feel real special if you give them the jumbo half and half with light ice.
No,
Oh, you got her for the whole fucking half.
No.
You got her for the whole night.
What?
No.
Go ahead.
No, not the jumbo half and half, bro.
The jumbo half and half, and then they don't even have the same level of taste as alcohol as I do. I drink cognac. They're happy if you just give them some fucking Malibu. God damn.
Well,
That's all I gotta do now.
that's how much they think that they're worth now. You always charge what you think that you're worth.
I had to
You
tell
know?
I had to tell one of my coworkers one time. He's trying to impress a chick on the phone with Ruth Chris. Man, I had to grab him out the car like I was carjacking him. It was so funny. Like you look like two cops carjacking each other. Nigga, don't you ever tell no bitch Ruth Chris. Don't you ever. You start at the bottom and wait till she gets here. No. I'm sorry. Like my boys used to be like, when the last time you went out on a date? I was like, when the last time Ray Lewis played?
Yeah, I just talked to a partner of mine today. He just got back from traveling. And I said, hey, man, how was it over there? I said, how much is price of pussy over there? He's like 80, 85 max. I said, for top tier? He said, I'm talking about top tier. I said, that's it, man? He's like, yeah. He's looking about 6 months. He's like, when people can't travel again, he goes, the shit gonna drop.
It's gonna drop. Look at Venezuela.
That's a different pit, but you're gonna say, yeah.
Look at Venezuela. They had to leave the country because they couldn't sell it there anymore. People didn't have no money. They had to go to Colombia.
Had to go to Colombia.
Yeah.
That's how the stocks went down on pussy.
Stock went down. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, basically, it look how it changed the black community, man, over the past 40 years.
I have to ask you this because I know that like a guy like my age, me and Dre are like a year apart. We seen shit as children, but of course it's different when you see it as an adult. Do you think the crack epidemic actually made it that much easier for the whore culture?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Of course. Because you turned so many women into whores, it had to become acceptable.
Well, and that's like you asking, did the Great Depression make it easier for whore culture?
Actually, well, nobody had any money, so
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
back in the day, I'm not saying
actually, the Great Depression actually, when men started working, it actually brought the marriage rates up. Okay, because now they don't want to go out there and be out there by themselves anymore. So
now BGS, I remember like me and my family was out like New Year's Eve. We all got together like we usually do. And I went to go check the yen rate, right? Just the yen rate, and I always check it. And the yen rate was at it was 90 yen to the dollar, right? So me being the person that I am, I went and bought a whole bunch of dollars, right? The yen rate today is 104.
Okay.
Right? Because Biden's going to be the, what I'm saying, they're going to do the inauguration, right? So the market jumped up. So what that means is just off the market alone, the dollar to yen rate itself usually sits around 108 to about 115.
Okay.
Right. So if you would have came overseas like right after the New Year's, your dollar wasn't worth shit. Yes. But that would have dropped the overall price of pussy.
Right.
Straight off. Like, so it's, even if you look at the rates of the world, the pound never sat below about 150 to 145. Now it's at 120 something because of BritX. The euro sitting at about 110, 115. Right. You know what I'm saying? Give it about 2 years. Instead of niggas going to South America, niggas need to be going to Europe.
Yeah, they are basically they are going to Europe.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Even though the price of the euro is high, basically, guess what? There's not there. It's all jobs.
Yeah.
So Spain, Portugal, Greece, Italy. Basically, it's a free for all, man.
Yeah, I'm like, but I would just say if you're going to travel, just travel like you're going to get. You know what I mean? You're doing it for a purpose. That'll come automatically.
Yeah.
Being a black dude walking around.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. Your dollar actually just recently broke out of its channel, so it should be on its way back up to right around 92, somewhere around there.
Like, hopefully my weed stock is going up too.
Downtrend channel, and I just recently broke out of it, so it should be on its way back up.
Yeah, so that's why I'm waiting. That's why I'm waiting right now before I cash back the other way, so I can pull that pull that extra 5 G's. Yeah. Like I'm like, and that's like, yeah.
Hey, Dre, I just got to say one thing. I'm hoping my weed stock goes through the roof again. Shit.
It should.
It should, because it's like, it's funny. One of my wrestlers came to visit. He's like, Coach, You got weed stock and you a cop? Hey, nigga, I'm trying to get. It's called enterprise and shit.
It's legal. You can have weed stock.
Yeah, we start like, but the other thing is like, I'm like, I think was it a couple more states and they're gonna make that legal. You know what I mean? They're gonna make
Man,
that legal.
unless you want to have National Guard on every corner in perpetuity, you better get these people high.
Well,
Yeah.
I got the
That's the
picture.
problem.
My homeboy got the
Mhm.
pictures of the inside the Capitol, the outside the Capitol.
Man, that's
That
ridiculous.
that
Man,
shit looks like Ford. That shit look like Ford fucking dicks.
yeah, of course.
Hey man, listen, man, they got caught with their pants down, man. Like
Yeah.
it was, you know what that was? That was a siege on Westeros. That's what that was.
Mhm.
They almost according to their pants down. They almost got Vaseline. God
Yeah,
damn.
Twen-
Oh
tw-
yeah.
21,000 National Guard in one little area, man. That's
Damn.
yeah, yeah.
I
You know
bet
they,
you.
yeah,
I
yeah,
wonder how. I wonder if
yeah,
the
a whole
crowd.
fucking battalion, man.
Oh,
yeah,
that's not it. They got officers from every jurisdiction of Maryland going up there too.
Yeah.
oh man, that OT is crazy, ain't it?
You know what?
And if I was full duty, man, I'd be making money. Good
With
God.
the thing is,
I got some good news real quick because it just reminded me of something.
mm,
I'm literally a hair's width away from getting promoted.
oh, cool.
Literally.
About
Literally.
goddamn time.
Like if they skip me, I'm gonna be like I'm gonna sue your asses because I've got a lot of duty injury for this surgery.
Yeah.
So I'm just like literally they got 3 more positions and I'm right next to the last guy who got promoted. So it's 3 spots open. So that means I'm pretty much I'm there.
Okay.
Charles, check this out. You pretty much you are there because by the time they finish them investigations, there's gonna be 20 spots open.
You ain't lying. But
Yeah,
what I want to say about what's going on in D.C. Basically, um, this president is actually making a show of force because you don't need that. You don't need a whole battalion even for presidential protection. He's actually showing so-called the alt right what they're in for in case they get funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like
saying
old Tang.
I'm not. He said I'm not playing. Okay.
He's like old Tang ain't nothing to fuck with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Hey, BJS, do you think that that's on a grander scale a show that the transfer and the continuity of power is going to be sound so that foreign investments stay stable?
No, partially, but really, it's a message to the rah-rahs out there. Okay,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, what people do on that, we basically they know people on the outside know not to mess with the United States. Okay, because they've seen the United States in action. If they get pissed off, they're not gonna mess with. But the people internally have never actually seen the full force and mighty United States Army or military. Never, ever, ever.
I love it. I
And
love it.
so basically they thought it was Disneyland. We can just run up in the state capitol, run up in the Capitol building at random because they ain't gonna do nothing. Okay, all right. Well, we coming back. We come back on inauguration day. Okay, bring your ass back. We got a whole battalion waiting for you with
Well, we
tanks,
got
helicopter gunships, and the whole 9 yards. Come on in here.
we got
Because-
something for you. We got something for
I
you,
was talking with-
penicillin.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I was
basically,
talking with my girl about that.
yeah.
They
Go
had
ahead.
got an internal memo saying that they've already the police have put the hospitals here in Austin on alert,
Mhm.
saying that they got internal memos saying that people are going to be protesting or there might be possible attacks at the Capitol.
Mhm.
On the
Yeah.
20th,
Yeah.
right?
It's actually
So she calls me about it. So she calls me about it. She goes, Mike, what you think's gonna happen? I said nothing. And she said, what you mean that nothing's gonna happen? They said there may be possible attacks. I said, sweetie, I said, one thing I know about white boys, if they're gonna do something, they're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
The motherfucker seized the damn Capitol and went and took pictures. Them
Mhm.
boys ain't built like that.
They ain't built like
If
that.
this had been 20 years ago, them
Mhm.
white boys may have been built like that. But these white boys today, they're not built for that life, man.
Yeah.
Motherfucker
Yeah.
crying because he got put off a fucking airplane. Get the fuck
Yeah.
out of here, man.
Mm.
You get? They already found a doctor, 2 nurses. They done found all these people in damn near less than a week.
Mm-hmm.
and here's the other thing. Here's the other thing is I was hearing from my dude that he transferred over there. He's sitting in there. He's in operations, and he said basically every submarine, ship, swinging dick, or whatever is on 24-hour standby, and sitting right in the Potomac is a fucking amphib with Marines ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got Marines ready to go. Like because the National Guardsmen, I mean they're weekend warriors. But when you send in the shock troops, you send them goddamn Marines in,
Mm-hmm.
it's open season.
Yeah.
Like
Man, I got some custom made. I was like, I had to order custom made nightsticks, man. Them S Fantanes, they coming next. Oh Lord, I hope the motherfucker does try it. Oh
yeah.
Lord, see, I'm just praying some of these dumb motherfuckers try it. I'm
But see,
just like, mm.
well, see, the thing is, it's okay to fuck up black people in front of everybody because they're accustomed to that. They're desensitized to that. They're used to that, right? But they got to get public support to mow down white people and fuck them up. Like you got to have.
No, they got the support.
Oh, they
It's
got
like
it.
I
They
said,
got the support.
it's
That's
like
why
I
they
said
do
on
it.
my channel. White people just gave black people the keys of the kingdom.
Yeah,
Like the black man is the hero of this shit. Like
literally.
you just told them we can't trust white folks anymore. Fuck you, crazy ass people. Like
Ooh.
we
Ain't been the first time.
we can't trust you. I've already told you what's gonna happen. They're gonna triple, if not quadruple, the amount of Capitol Police. So black man looking for a job, they can't fucking discriminate against you because one, how you not gonna? They're about to give this guy the fucking Presidential Medal of Freedom. They pretty much are. They pretty much gonna have a black man as the face of the fucking Capitol Police. Even if they have a black female chief or acting chief at this moment, she probably will become full chief. They're gonna pretty much, they can't, look how many white people in law enforcement are getting arrested, are getting investigated. Look how many of these white people who are in the military are getting investigated and arrested. They can't trust them anymore. They pretty much gave you the keys to the kingdom. Just don't, like BGS said about the shutting down all those Democratic nominees. Just don't fuck it up.
Yeah. No. Well, the other thing is, the chick that tweeted Pelosi's location during the whole thing, she just stepped down. She just resigned.
She had to, man. They told her we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
And then one of her, I guess the guy that was with her talking about the whole Trump thing, he just said, which corroborated the Republican rep, the other white lady that was like an ex-Navy pilot. She said she saw people giving people tours of the Senate, and for you to get that access, you got to be a part of the staff, or you got to be a rep or a senator to give people that type of tour, right? So so they just so they got her, like they say she resigned, but they probably got her in a black site somewhere. Like you
Probably
better
not.
give up. You better give up something. You better you gonna resign. You want to go home, or you want to go to jail? You want to go to jail? You want to go home? Like
I think that she didn't have to go to black site. They for her not to get ruined like that, she had to give up something. So you just walk like that. You're caught.
So BJ, just
Hey, cousin.
to play off of what Charles Faulkner said, and the greater sort of context of the conversation, we were talking about the promotion of black men in mass media as winning, as being the leader.
Yeah.
Couple that with what Charles Faulkner just said in terms of being handed the keys to the kingdom, in terms of trustworthiness with roles in positions of power. Do you see that that's all like playing in for like a common goal here?
Basically, I said this, I think, in my last video. Basically, if we look at Dr. Curry's work, he says legally, financially, and socially, they've kept black men in a particular box, particular position. But now they need the black man to actually be part of the society. So they've actually removed the lid from the box, removed the walls from the box, right? So basically, you have been liberated from the position you've been in for like 300 years. So we don't know if it's going to be forever or for a short period of time. Like Charles said, you better take advantage of it while it's still hot. because you never can know when how things are actually going to turn. So right now you do. You got keys to the kingdom. Take advantage of it.
Mm-hmm.
Totally
Now,
agree.
yeah, and that thing like
And,
that
and,
thing.
and, and vet your white woman, okay? Don't just take her on
Right.
just because she white, she cute. Vet that bitch,
Yeah,
okay?
they got
Listen,
strags too. Don't
No,
Hey,
make it worse.
she's coming. She's coming to. She's coming towards you. She's coming
yeah,
after you. If you're a man, if you're making $50,000 over, you gonna a white chick's gonna come after you, okay? In this
Yeah.
environment.
And remember,
If
their
you
strags
see
are
me with
worse.
a white woman, I'm arresting her.
Only
like
remember go ahead.
no, I'm like VGS is what he's saying is like facts because to be totally honest, like a lot of you brothers that's walking around that don't have the means to do anything, these white boys that shows you like that whole don't go in the military shit. Most of them dudes was military. Like if you look at every last one of them that ran up on that Capitol,
Yeah,
most of them was military
yeah.
and you trained. So even if you did go to the store and get that gun, he got way more training and experience than you. I'm like, experience beats, that any day of using whatever you got to use. But
Mhm.
a lot of y'all have to understand that we're behind in a lot of areas, and then these things are opening up. If they're getting rid of people, firing people, whatever, they
Mhm.
like they're
There's,
fire.
there's gonna be a purge. There's gonna be a
There's a
purge.
purge. And
Yeah,
then niggas need to step the fuck up, man.
yeah.
But they're not going to tell you that, you know what I'm saying? Because they have
Of
to
course
appease
not.
the other masses. Yeah, you got to take it. You got to run with it and take it. And you got to jump in yourself in those positions because if you don't,
Yeah,
if you don't,
if you
those
don't.
those those
Yeah.
other minorities that they keep busting in with those immigration policies that look like you will take those advantages.
Yeah, well, the thing is that one, they can, but they're gonna have to limit it because you don't
Mhm.
have enough jobs for your own population. If you bust in other minorities, then you don't have jobs for the people. Then you're gonna see more of what's going on in the streets that happened
Mhm.
over the last 6 months. You don't want
Right.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're not. In fact, there's more immigrants actually leaving right now because they can't find jobs over the
Mm.
past like California over the past 6 months you have had a net of like maybe a million immigrants leave California.
I was about to ask you about that because I keep seeing these things on social media and on YouTube, like a lot of content creators that move from Cali, move from the East Coast to the West Coast. A
Yeah,
lot of them are saying they leaving Cali, they going like to Texas, New Mexico, Arizona,
yeah.
uh,
Oh,
Georgia, Florida, Alabama,
yeah,
Mississippi.
because the cost of living is so high, cost of property is so high in Los Angeles. So you have a lot of escapees that you're making $67,000 a year, and you're living in a shack. So
Mhm.
eventually people will get tired of it. Especially COVID allowed a lot of people to actually work uh, untethered from a location, so they can do the same thing in a high cost area like Los Angeles versus low cost area like Nevada, Arizona, or even Texas. Same things happen in New York. New York's going through the same crisis where you have a lot of economic escapees leaving New York.
Yeah, I
So
So a
lived in.
mass exodus, in other words.
it's not a mass exodus. It's a slow transition because
Yeah,
you
I don't know anybody in their right mind who would live in California, man. Like I've lived there for a short period of time, like
yeah,
7, 8 months,
yeah,
and you know, paying $1,500 for
yeah,
a cheap two
Hmm.
bedroom
yeah,
apartment,
yeah.
ridiculous, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
But most people, I just happen to be basically raised here, so that's why I'm here. The weather doesn't, the weather is good and all that kind of stuff. The jobs are here, but the thing is that when the opportunities, when the costs outweigh the opportunities, people leave. That's what's happening. So it's not the people that are the upper echelon that are leaving, but it's people that are like the rank and file blue collar people that are leaving. They can't afford to live here.
Yeah,
So.
and look, I love LA. I mean,
Mhm.
I love to go get a fat burger with the
Yep.
bacon and the egg on it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
What's that soul food restaurant, man? On
Bertha's?
huh?
Is it Bertha's or is it M&M?
Chicken and waffles.
Oh, Roscoe's.
Roscoe's.
Yeah.
Roscoe's. Man, I
Yeah.
love Roscoe's. That gravy with the mashed potatoes with
Yeah.
the
With the gravy on the chicken. Yeah.
yeah, man,
You
good
get
food.
you get the breast or the wing.
And have you ever been to a place called Quick and Split?
I grew up on Quick and Split, but they're hard to find now.
Man, awesome, man. I never had pastrami on a taco until I went to California, man. Best food in the world, baby.
With Quick and Split, you have to get the homemade ice cream from Quick and Split. Okay, if you go to Quick and Split, if you can find it, get the homemade ice cream.
Now pause. Now a motherfucking place named Roscoe. You know they're gonna have some good food and a bitch with an attitude serving you. God damn.
actually, Roscoe's the first Roscoe's was actually in Hollywood. Is actually more upscale, believe it or not.
So it started in Cali, right? Roscoe?
Yeah, in Hollywood.
Okay.
I like to have my wings with champagne, please. God damn.
Yeah, like say Liberia said, I'm paying $3K for a 1 bedroom. Yep, that's why people leave.
$3K for what?
Damn.
God damn, they charge you $700 to get a cardboard box.
I think he lives close to downtown, where which is high.
Look over here in Austin. You can't even buy a house because these jokers from Cali are coming in New York are coming in and buying.
Yep, they're buying up.
I mean, so they've got like a little magazine where they put the houses out that are supposed to be on sale.
Mm-hmm.
Every last one of them, every episode, every issue that they published, already actively contracted. Like these houses, are like 350 start. Like there's no house.
Oh, that's basically in
California folks buying them up.
And when LA 350 start in the ghetto.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you in Texas.
Yeah, but 350 here, 5-bedroom, like a 5-bedroom house.
Exactly. That's why people leave in Cali, man.
Yeah, in Texas you can buy a miniature mansion for the $350,000. I mean, literally 4 bedrooms, marble flooring, marble countering, big backyards. Well, their backyards aren't that big here, but I mean, just beautiful property, all brand new, just recently developed. Whereas in California, that stuff is old, man. And the cost of living is crazy. But what's up with all the coronavirus cases going on in California, man?
Basically, Cali initially was pretty much locked down, and people were actually complying, but they got tired of actually complying. And with this many people, eventually it was actually going to spread. So have a lot of young people doing risky behavior and spreading this shit. So that's what's happening.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I heard the air quality got better during the lockdown.
It did.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, in Cali normally it's warm, but we had a kind of like a cold snap, and so with a cold snap, guess what's going to happen? Your immune system is going to go down, and the sickness will actually go up. We got 40 million people here, man.
Man. But you know what's fucked up? Even during the lockdown, y'all still had fucking traffic jams off the ass. Ain't that a bitch?
Terrible traffic in California, man. You could be stuck on one of them highways for 2-3 hours.
You can be, depending on where you're coming from.
I mean, shit, traffic's so bad in Cali, the birds even got to wait 2 hours. Them niggas fine. God damn.
But that's the thing that I was like, it bought, like, I didn't realize this until I left the U.S. and I was always thinking, like, they were always talking about, they got bullet trains like overseas and all this other places, and I was like, Cali would be the perfect place to have that would cut down on a lot of stuff. But I was like, well, they got earthquakes, but then when I live in the country where they got earthquakes like motherfucking niggas got gunshots in Baltimore, you know what I'm saying? It's like that's that, I mean, what was like, what is there the reason why that's not a thing? Like I'm trying to see economically, why isn't that a thing? Just even between Frisco and LA, you know what I'm saying? Just just between two major places where people do business at, like that would be perfect. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, good sir, we do not have too many bullets. We have a bullet train. That just means it's a shootout. That's it. But I mean, they're supposed to be doing a bullet train from DC to Baltimore. I probably wouldn't even be in Baltimore too much.
5 minutes, nigga, like shit. The goddamn Amtrak goes like 25 minutes.
I tell you, Baltimore's gonna be a suburb, man. The DC in a minute. It'll be a bullet train. It's gonna be a suburb.
Oh yeah.
Well, they already converting from being Redskins fans to Ravens fans. So
that's what's going to happen. It's going to be a suburb. Just like they were going to do that for Las Vegas. If
as
you
long
do
as
that,
they don't play go-go. As long as they don't play go-go.
All right, man. Fuck that go-go shit, man. We can keep that shit. And them niggas with them slouch socks with them
slouch socks wearing, baby wearing Abercrombie and Fitch wearing motherfuckers. Like, what the fuck?
What is that? Nigga wearing Persucos and shit. Nigga, who does that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Damn,
Got a
I thought you loved go-go music, man, being a Baltimorean.
What the fuck?
See, you got what the complete and utter fuck. We listen to club music, not go-go. That's the BT
Clubbing.
fucking shit. I mean, goddamn.
Here
The
we go.
fuck? You don't
Man.
hear me banging on a bunch of trans? Like, you got 40 different songs, same goddamn beat.
That's like you on a Zydeco music, man. It all sounds the same.
You can't be disingenuous, Charles. We got 40 different songs with 8 different beats. So we can't be different.
No, we got 40 different beats, 8 different songs. That's it.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because those songs went away because when Kate Swift died and shit. So,
So I'm just looking at it like shit. Like it'd be like it'd be too much going on. Like you wouldn't be able to tell the Baltimoreans from the fucking DC. Like, goddamn.
I can't tell the difference between Baltimore and DC. I can't tell, but I know one thing: in DC, if you want to get a drink at the club, that's about $15 a beer.
Yeah.
A beer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
that's a cup of fucking water. Like, fuck that. Last time I went there, a chick tried to ask me for a drink. I said, bitch, give me a drink. Why do you think I'm carrying this goddamn bottle? You better drink this cognac. You ain't getting shit else.
Yeah, I was there like when Obama first got inaugurated, and it was beautiful, man. DC, Baltimore, man, they got the baddest looking women you ever seen in your life, bro. Real talk.
Yeah, that's true. You just got a 3-month minimum of dealing with the asses after a while. Like, bitch, I'm about to push you over the Francis Scott Key Bridge. Fuck out of here.
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. Are you talking about Baltimore City or you talking about the county? Because there's a difference. There's a difference.
Like PG.
No, you got some pretty Baltimorean chicks.
Yeah, I know.
Just, they just don't stay as long as they
That's
used
what I'm
to.
saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, you got to throw them over the bridge. You talking about Baltimore City. If you can deal with them, you talking about the county.
I mean, even some of the PG County chicks, they're just bougie pretty.
Yeah, of course. You know what I'm saying? The Anne Arundel County takes a hold.
Anne Arundel County.
Look at the Braxton.
Stay the fuck away from them Glen Burnie chicks, man.
Yeah, that's where Tony Braxton and her sisters came from.
What part of stay away from them Glen Burnie chicks?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The Arundel Mill chicks.
Oh man, what's worse is you got the white girls who think they're black in Maryland, and they.
Oh, you talking about Brooklyn or Pigtown? Talking about Brooklyn or Pigtown?
Brooklyn, oh god, man, right on the cusp of Anne Arundel County.
Yeah, so you got the Brooklyn chicks, the Brooklyn Maryland chicks who think they black. Well, they live down the street from Charlie Hill.
Well, you know the white girls over there, they got the gene pool that has the same depth as hawk spit. So
yeah, that's true.
There's some. You talking about DC?
I'm talking
about.
Hey man, Baltimore is just dirty. Period, man. Like the people, man. Like I hate to say that, man. Like
you ain't gonna be talking about my city like that.
Look, man, I'm not trying to disrespect it, man. My brother's from Chicago, and he lived in Baltimore for about 15 years. You know what I'm saying? And so I would visit. You know, he lived right around Fells Point, but it's a projects right near that place, man. Like right where he lives.
The Flag House.
Man, I'm like, dude. I mean, you know, and I don't have a problem with project people, man. You know what I'm saying? I know them people, but at the same time, it's like you got downtown Baltimore right next to the projects, right next to Fells Point. You know what I'm saying? It's just a crazy,
that's a lot of cities.
But the white boys, they're dirty as hell. Then they got like people waiting in the morning at 7-Eleven to try to get some work and shit. This is crazy, man.
Well, that's because you're in fucking Southeast Baltimore, Southeast District, where all the little, you know, I like to call that little Mexico, little Tijuana and shit, little 5 foot fucking even motherfuckers. Like you need something fixed, no motherfucker, shit.
But I like Baltimore. I like how they say T. What you want to do?
Nobody says to and do with the long and the you. That's because people cannot enunciate. No, that's that Jersey shit. Like, yo, I can't,
Yeah,
I can't stand that Jersey shit. Like, I was messing with one girl. She would just say, "Where we gonna go to?" And I'm like, I'm looking at my watch. Like that shit passed like 5 minutes before she ended that sentence. Like, god damn.
So you got T. Riddler. He says, "Have you ever seen Philly, man?" I've been to Philly, but shortly. I had a job interview, maybe about 5 years ago in Philly, and that shit looked crazy. It ain't the city of brotherly love. I can tell you that.
Oh wow.
It
Not
ain't no love
anymore.
Yes.
going on in Philly. I
Nah,
can tell you that right now.
Philly's the city of brotherly thugs, man.
Damn.
Like the streets are very narrow, but everybody has like nice haircuts because they all Beijinged out. Like, I mean, they look like a bunch of black anime characters, man. Like, oh, don't get me started going to Virginia and North Carolina. It's got
Oh
good
man, no,
already.
man, no,
Bunch
man.
of
No, what
country
part?
fuckers,
No,
man.
no. You gotta make it. You got there's Virginia's divided up into two halves, right? You got your upper Virginia where you got your Prince George's County, and then you got your Richmond and stuff like that. And then
You
you
got
got
your Fairfax where nobody can
yeah,
afford to live.
yeah. And then what you have is what we call it the seven cities of hell in Ratchetry, which is the Tidewater area: Portsmouth, Newport News, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Suffolk, Chesapeake.
Mm.
Right. So you got that. Yeah, that's a whole different
You know
ballgame.
why they call that? I was stationed over there at Newport News. You know why they call it Newport News? Because somebody's new ass body just got flound up floating in from the fucking news. That's why they called it that shit.
Liberia, hey Charles, that Liberia actually say dog.
It's dog, not Doug. It's dog.
Yeah.
Like what the like what you haven't understand? I can enunciate, motherfucker. Like it's not Doug, like that fucking Nickelodeon character. It's dog. Og, a dog. Thank you.
Hey,
Hey
hey,
man, much love to y'all.
I can speak the Queen's English, motherfuckers.
Much love to
hey,
y'all, man. I'm out of here though, man. Peace out to
uh,
you.
All right,
Jeez.
GG.
Yeah.
Thanks
but,
for stopping through, GG.
For sure, man. All day.
Hey, BJS. Well, I guess he left. I was going to ask him about the documentary, but all to the good.
Oh, okay.
yeah, that's yeah,
He might be back up. He's listening. I'm
You
sure
know,
he might be
when
back up.
when you hear somebody say Doug and it's not a Baltimore accent. It's called lazy pronunciation.
no, that's a Baltimore accent, man.
No, that's lazy pronunciation. No, that's just being lazy.
No,
You know what
no.
the fucking word is.
Yeah, but you know, it's a Baltimore thing. Like it's like like we say dummy. Don't nobody say dummy. That's
I'm so confused about that. Like
yeah.
you got a bunch of niggas with their standard issue gear of jeans with holes in them and a wife beater and New Balances. Like, every time I miss Baltimore, I just click my heels 3 times at a pair of them and say dummy. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I didn't realize how bad my accent was until I left Baltimore.
Most people can't even tell where I'm from, so that's the weirdest part.
Well, that's probably a good thing. Well, yeah, it's getting more generic. I hear a lot of millennials can probably have it bad, the younger ones, because you can't even tell where they're from anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like all of them sound like they're from Cali. Hey,
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they standardize on Cali pronunciation. I don't know why, but they do.
Hey, dude, how you doing? We're gonna go chill with the homies and my niggers.
Yeah, well, with the valley accent, I call it.
Yeah.
What's going on, everyone, man? I got cousin T-Talk, man. I joined your Patreon, man. I don't know where I missed you at, but when I found out your channel, man, I've been hooked, man, for like about a half a year now, man.
I appreciate that. Welcome to the age of the diesel. That was christened right here on the BGS More channel. But yeah, if y'all, you already know, you got a catalog of how to seduce, how to attract, how to present your best self to position yourself like a heat-seeking missile. Not necessarily for the women who trying to do it for a chicken wing, but for the women who
Put a
you know.
put a new definition. Ain't nothing but a chicken
cousin,
wing.
cousin
Well,
T, thou art
well,
not shit, sir.
I have to say, man, I've been in the shadow world for about 6 months now.
Oh wow.
I,
Uh,
I,
it's-
I my life, man, is so great, man, in that regard. I can't even expose it because it just be too much to even talk about, man.
it's a
So
testimonial. I appreciate
yeah,
that
yeah.
testimonial.
Once down the dark path forever will change your destiny, man.
Oh Lord.
Most definitely.
And Felix the Observer, the Baltimorean accent is called. It's originally from the Mid Atlantic. It's basically a Mid Atlantic accent.
Mhm.
Look it up.
But continue, broke genius.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm in Chicago too, man. And one thing I was kind of was interesting is that you in a kind of another world as far as what you do as far as things. And I mean, a lot of people just only get a glimpse into that world, man. You the guy, man, that I probably would be in competition with, because like any dude that his girl goes to a bachelorette party, you know uh you know what I'm saying, that's a little, I just wanted to kind of be the fly on the wall. And
You just have to. A lot of guys, because you've been socialized, you had to be brainwashed, man, because you're a provider male, and they have to brainwash your view of women. Otherwise, you'd have a different relationship with her. So a lot of guys can't accept it. I've talked to guys. They've seen it, they know, but they still can't accept it. Okay, I said, well, so what if you have a chick that has 2 or 3 dudes? As long as she cleans up before you get to you, what do you care? No, man, I can't deal with it, man.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! I just noticed Cousin T-Taw's up here.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up,
No,
Cousin
man.
T-Taw?
No, man. I
Salute.
just think about her cum swimming in somebody else's cum swimming in it. I said, man, you can't think of it.
Well,
But,
I'm
but
gonna
a
tell
lot
you
of
the
guys
same.
can't accept that. A lot of guys
I'm
can't
gonna,
accept
I'm gonna tell you the same thing my first sergeant said at basic training in Fort Benning, Georgia.
it.
Don't worry about your chick at home. She gonna be the same way you left her, freshly fucked.
Yes.
Jody,
I'm gonna tell you,
Ain't no sense in going home.
there ain't no sense because Jody got your girl. You gotta keep
Yelling
it
gone.
real warm.
Yeah.
It's nice to finally be on a panel with Cousin
oh
T-Taw.
yeah,
It's nice. My
Salute.
fellow
Oh,
PhD in hoology.
He does it. The cousin T don't come out of the shadows very often, man.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
he's like a fellow colleague in my PhD in hoology.
I couldn't believe it, man.
Oh, how was you?
I
So
can't.
BJ, so
Yeah.
what cousin T is doing is, oh, okay, I get it now. 'Cause I was kind of confused when he was saying like the dark side. I said, oh, okay, so the young man here stared into the darkness and stared back at him. How did you
Oh
like
yeah,
it?
oh
No,
yeah, plenty
basically,
of it.
like he's like Bane. He was born in the darkness.
Oh,
I
okay.
was born in it.
You know what I'm saying?
Molded by it.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
I'll say this much: no woman is safe from
Damn.
the shadow world. Let me put it that way. And
Mhm.
you mentioned PhDs. For some reason, that term gets thrown around a lot, especially from women who
Yeah.
you would imagine have attained to a certain stature.
Mhm.
Those are the craziest ones. Like,
Yeah,
I bet.
you know what?
How'd you think she got her degree?
Cousin TJ, you already know this, man. Any woman that's lived in a suppressed society or atmosphere, when they finally break loose, all this shit is pent up. Like my fiance, she was an ex Jehovah Witness.
Oh
Lord.
boy.
That's like being the pastor's daughter.
Say
mean,
what? Oh, that's
That's
what
like
they're
being the
worse.
pastor's daughter.
Oh, they're worse than the. I've
Yeah.
had the pastor's daughter. They're worse than the pastor's daughter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, one
I
thing.
had the pastor's daughter. I had the pastor's niece. I had the pastor's cousin. I'm
Uh,
talking too much about my business. I ain't
Yeah, yeah,
shit.
yeah,
I,
yeah,
I, I
yeah.
think I think I told a story about one of my girlfriends in the particular pastor church they went to. I think I told that on Rhymes one of Rhymes streams. Okay, it's an
Mhm.
interesting story about how women get down and get around, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, they say, it's pretty much the whole adage is, watch what they say, but more importantly, watch what they do. You know.
You know, the biggest
Well,
thing, if you really want to understand it, it is
giggity.
that women do the same thing men do. They just do it a different way.
Yeah,
So
they. Yeah.
her appetite is the same as yours. If they cheat just as much as you do, they have more
Hmm.
opportunity. But they do the same things you do for the same reasons you do. They just do it a different way.
Yeah, I'm
It,
gonna tell
it's
you, BGS. You know who fucked up my view of women? I want you
who
to guess.
Well, I
My
hope it wasn't
mother.
your.
You know what?
I was
You
gonna
know
say
what?
that.
You know why? Because she always told me none of these bitches are shit. Like every ex
Man,
girlfriend, there's very few of them. She was like, "Oh,
man,
that bitch ain't
man,
shit."
they
It's
ain't.
like, damn. I was like, damn. You have no faith in none of these women.
You know what? What happened to me? I was 16, right, and I was in high school, and there was a beautiful ass freshman, gorgeous. I mean, green eyes,
Oh,
perfect
that's
tits,
it. That's all you need. Great eyes.
green eyes, perfect tits. She was a red bone, perfect red bone, man.
Ooh.
Gorgeous little thing, man. And I was shooting my shot, man. And things were coming up. I was getting to know her, and this dude in the Mercedes, man, came up and pulled her, man,
Yeah.
from the high
Well,
wow.
school. I
it's
said,
like
I
Richard
said,
Pryor said. When you went inside your pockets and you could pull nothing but lit, you
yeah,
can't
hey,
compete.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I was heartbroken, but I had to salute him. Hey, better man got her. What can I say?
See,
Yeah.
now
Ever
you're
since
touching
then,
something that's a nerve that for a lot of guys,
yeah,
the high
Yeah.
school experience, that's
yeah,
that's a really sensitive nerve for a lot of
yeah,
guys because
yeah,
like
Oh,
like we pointed out before,
yeah.
most guys we're just discovering our jump shot in high school, 14 and
Yeah.
15.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
it's it's girls that are literally being sent uh plane and train and bus tickets
Yeah.
to their phones. You
Yeah.
know what I'm
Mhm,
saying?
Yeah.
To take a day trip in high
Yeah.
school. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
They,
like,
they,
Like
they, they, they,
T-Taw, like
they don't have.
T-Taw.
They don't have. They're
Like
born with it. They don't have to earn anything. That's the
like
problem.
T-Taw. You gotta
mhm.
understand something. These chicks, like I had to explain to Truth, and he was 19 on my show. I said, dude, you're 19. You get with a 19-year-old chick, she's outclassing you by at least 12 years. At 5, she learns how to manipulate her dad.
mm,
By the time she come to you, she got you wrapped around your little finger. He's like, what if you black pill? I said, at 19, if you're black pill, you see some horrific shit.
You said some real shit. You have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're too young to be black pill. I
You
said,
got
trust
another
me,
point.
I'm black pill and I can laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
shit. That's because I'm almost 40. So, but at 19, it's okay to be red pill. Don't be a rageaholic about it. Just realize he was like, but I'm on my purpose, trying to play football, and what if you avoid the women? I said, dude,
You can't.
if you like me at 19, your dick is up like a Jedi lightsaber.
You,
Yep.
Okay,
if,
you can't avoid this
if
shit.
you if you in college playing ball, you can't avoid the women. Okay.
I
Nope.
Yeah,
said, man,
that's
they
true.
gonna trap you,
They're gonna
and
throw
then you
themselves at you
night
literally.
literally they're gonna be in your room. Like, yeah, you gonna like in college, you gonna say no to two bitches built like Bria Miles that want to sleep with you at the same time?
Hey,
I
Nope.
think not.
hey, Charles, look at this. Lay bear.
In 3 months, Bane is about to be my new avatar. I'm coming for Faulkner on who is bigger. Well, if I'm bigger where it counts, but anyway. But oh man, I can't reach Sammy.
When I move to the East Coast, here's my YouTube standard. I can't reach Simon Panda yet.
mm.
Simon
What
Panda.
do you-
The weight,
He's
he's
a
a bodybuilder.
bodybuilder.
He's a
Oh,
He's
bodybuilder.
a
bodybuilder. Okay.
bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Man,
Well, I'm gonna.
Light
Well,
Bear's a big dude. Light
I'm
Bear's
gonna
a
put
big
it to you
dude.
this. I'm gonna put it to you this way, Lightbearer. I'm just gonna work on upper body because when I get to my surgery, that's the only shit I can do. I'm gonna be hopping along to the bench in my room and just, doing jail workouts and shit.
Charles, there's something you said earlier about about if you're 19 and you're black pilled, then you've really seen some horrific shit. I
You
think
better,
yes,
yeah.
but also you gotta remember. I remember what I said to JoJo and what I said to the panel on my first or second time on Roger Report. Be careful in what you ingest. A lot of these young kids see. BGS has experiences. I have experiences. You do. Everybody in this room, all in our 30s and up. A lot of these young
You're
You,
breaking
you know,
up.
I
up.
hate it when
You're
you say
breaking up.
some down ass shit, but you
You
breaking up.
breaking up, Mr. Z.
Don't you hate it when it sound like they about to say some down
Can you
ass
hear
shit?
me better now? Better now? Better now? Better now? Better
Yeah,
now?
a little bit.
Right
Go ahead.
now?
Yeah, right there.
Moonwalk, nigga, moonwalk.
Okay. So
Right there.
when right, but okay. So when some of these kids are in their early 20s and their teens, but they're taking in all this information off the internet from people that
Still
have had
breaking up a
20,
little.
30 years of experience with women. Damn it.
Hmm.
Okay, give me a second. Give me a second. Let me get in a better place.
Yeah, but basically, it depends how you go up. Like, if you go to Ron Wills's channel, right? Ron Wills grew up in the area, right? He was around these people, and he was around these women. These women actually taught him the game before he got to be of age. So he was born black pilled. So if you're
Yeah.
lucky enough, you can actually um, get school to the game. I always tell if you really want to get school to the game, and cousin teacher can disagree if he wants to, get an older woman that will actually teach you the game.
Oh
Uh-huh.
no,
It,
I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Um, and I would even take that a step further, and that's why I try to encourage guys to have a threesome as soon as possible. Not because
Are we best friends?
I try
Can
to
you guys hear
tell
me
you,
better now?
man. I try.
yeah,
Yeah.
hold on, Mr.
Okay.
G. Go
Okay.
ahead,
no,
cousin.
not only because you get to experience a side of female nature that's uninhibited, but you get to test to see if what your capacity is. Maybe you're not into threesomes. Maybe you don't have that capacity to manage multiple women at one time, or perhaps in the future. But having had that experience is what's going to teach you about you,
Hmm.
and I think that that's the most important part about it. But in terms of Charles Faulkner, I don't think that no one has as much sex or indiscretionary sex as police officers. I'm gonna just put it out there.
No, they do not.
Wait a minute. That's an
No,
unproven.
they do not. In the square world, cousin T, in the square
Yeah,
world.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
an.
was literally
I
saying that
mean,
last
I'll
night.
put it to you. I'll put it to you this way, right?
Nurses and cops.
Nurses and cops.
There's a speech that was given to me when I first came to the district. I'm gonna warn you. It's a tough job, but you're gonna love it. And number two, your pussy rate's gonna go up the roof. Don't let them bitches control you.
Yep.
And I gave the same speech to my boy when he first came to the district and what in Capitol Police now. He called me the other day. He called me like 2 months later when he
Mhm.
came because he had to go to this foot for about 2 months. Then he came. He was like, "Nigga, well, you said my pussy rate was going up. You ain't never lied."
The badge bunnies alone are abundant.
Yeah.
And then on
Bunnies.
top of that,
Wow.
you just have between
Yeah.
that and the military. I just
Uh-huh.
look at women like, uh huh. They be like, but you're so, uh huh. Like it's so funny that you said it about threesomes, and it's how can I say it?
That was last weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, good work.
I, I
No,
don't,
no,
I'm always a gay. I'm always a gay girl's lover. The secret lover for a
yeah.
gay girl.
But see, Cousin T said something, but he got, what I'm saying, do you have the rules of the threesome? Because you gotta give him the rules. There's rules involved in this.
Well,
You know what
so
I'm
I did 3 videos about
You're
the
about to have niggas
logistics.
with notes right now.
Hilarious.
saying? Well, shit, they need solutions. Shit, you
Yeah.
can't tell them to do stuff without the instruction manual.
Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead, cousin T.
well, here's my thing. Yeah, I did 3 videos about the logistics of it, how to set it up, what it really takes for a man to get 2 women through a threesome. But the deeper thing about it is, you want to talk about the upper crust, you want to talk about the upper middle class or the high net worth individuals. They're they're having all kinds of ridiculous sex escapades, and for various reasons, even more so than. And it'll be like the square guys or the guys who are like vanilla on the outside. But once you get past the boardroom or whatever, you know, they don't have any rules because they don't have anybody to answer to. And that's sort of the mentality that I try to get as many men used to, because once you and these are guys who definitely want to have a relationship, a meaningful quote unquote relationship with a woman, without being sort of emotionally or mentally abused. So then I said, well, you need to get over sex as quickly as possible, because if you're in a relationship with a woman who knows your blind side, and most guys' blind side is thinking that his dick is the best, or you know his performance is better than it actually is. That's a huge blind spot for a lot of men, and unfortunately, you know, women will leverage that against the average man. So, in order to cover that blind spot, you need to get over sex. You need to get over your hangups with sex.
Yep.
You need to get over basically the currency of sex, to tie it into the original subject. But why a threesome? Why I recommend a guy at least attempt a threesome as soon as possible, is because it teaches you management skills. Once you know how to manage a woman sexually, then the other aspects of a relationship really fall into place, including disqualifying women who are not going to be on your program. And I think that's the most important takeaway from that.
You have to learn how to reverse the game, because I always say treat sex like you're the agent, right? What you want is 10%.
Yeah.
You know, the orgasm is for her, but the thing is, you want to control her mind. So what you want is 10%. You're the agent. You know, you're not the buyer. You're the agent. You're selling. That's how you want to.
I like to add something to that real quick. See, a lot of them, I love because of T-Talk. See, I got to do a show because of T-Talk one day.
Totally.
It's going to be so fun. I'll be like, wow. Let's go do karate in the garage, man. We can talk about this all night. And it's like,
I'll tell you the stories about the NFL days.
He's got stories, man.
I'll tell you the stories of when I had to lock up people's boyfriends. I'll put it to you this way: a lot of dudes have never even felt it's weird to me, because when people, and this is how human beings really think. What happens to you, you think it's the average, till you actually talk to other men, and they're like, well, my girlfriend, she just falls asleep when we have sex, or she just go get a toy and finish herself off and use the bathroom.
Okay.
I was like, well, my chick, she's either asleep or making me some food, or she wiping me off with the warm soapy washcloth.
Oh yeah, the
warm soapy washcloth.
That's the pinnacle. That's the pinnacle of if you hit it. Because if she hands you a wet wipe or a piece of toilet paper, you ain't do shit.
Hey, Charles, the line I love is, "Baby, let yourself out. I can't get up."
Okay, let me add to that.
Go ahead.
The woman who has your special box of condoms with your name on it next to her bed.
Oh shit!
Even though you don't live there.
You know, something I realized talking to different people is, the men in this room sound like we've been lusted after. You know what it is like to actually have a woman who really wants you, to damn near be drooling over you. A lot of dudes have never felt that before, and you can tell it by the way they talk, about women. They've never been desired, really.
Can you say that again for the niggas in the back?
I'll give you a tip. There's a hint that she's really into you, right? Say if you dated on a regular basis, right? If you have your own drawer in her house.
There you go.
Nigga, I had closets.
Brother, he recognized what I'm talking about, man.
I had
house
closet
shoes.
space. I had closet space. Okay, there's some chicks.
Oh, now if you get closet space, it's time to roll, man. Because
you got to bounce.
I'm higher. You got to bounce. You got to bounce. She ain't gonna be happy. No,
but they both could cook.
It doesn't matter if unless you want to get married. If you get closet space in another
Oh
woman's
yeah,
house,
that's a
you got to bounce, man.
It's
That's
a trap.
too much.
I know.
It's a
Hey,
trap.
BG, yeah, sometimes a
Hey,
man got to walk around and be like, curse this good dick of mine.
Hey, no,
hey,
Akbar is gonna bounce out of the closet. It's a trap.
Yeah.
it's a
It's a
trap.
trap, nigga.
but,
It's a
Yeah.
trap.
Oh no,
And
no.
that was
but
something I realized because I'm starting to kind of dig a little deeper into the incel community, and I realized something. Them niggas never felt what it's like to truly be wanted and desired. And I think
Well,
that it's not just a virginity or something
Well,
oftentimes, but that's one of the
They,
things
they,
that they resent the
they,
most. It looks like.
they haven't been desired by a woman that they want, and that's the
yeah.
yeah,
problem with them.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not incels. They're voluntarily, because I actually listened to them, right? I said, okay, it said in America, it's almost impossible not to get sex at some point in your life. It's almost impossible. How come
Pretty
we just
much.
don't get it? And then they give me all these excuses. Okay, you're not an incel. You voluntarily celibate because you can't get what you want.
you know the quote cerulean. You could slip on a banana peel and
You
fall into
literally
some
can.
pussy.
In modern America, is when I was coming up, is a lot harder than it is now. Now,
Mhm.
if you're healthy and 20 and reasonably good looking, not like a 5, it's almost impossible not to get sex. 4 is get sex if you're a man. Okay.
Go based on
BGS,
looks.
how would you explain the lowering sex rate with men and women, especially the young men?
Okay. Okay. This is something that me and the name was actually working on. It's called the behavioral sync. It's more psychological. It has where men and women are just not getting together because they have a lower desire for each other, and that could be due to the environment. Because
The economy, the economy plays a little bit.
a little bit,
Yeah.
a little bit, but thing is, it's more the modern environment because it's a phenomenon happening all over the world. It's not just here. And when I actually sat down, because there's a good video on Sandman, right? He was actually talking to, was it Sandman? No, I am serious. I might have to find and put a link in the chat, not a chat, but in the comments, right? Where he actually interviewed a incel for like 2 hours, man, and he
I
went
saw
through.
it.
You
I
saw
saw
that?
it. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Incelmatics.
Incelmatics, and basically, I actually listened to him, and I said, okay. Somebody got the speaker on. Okay. I said, this dude is not black pill like he says. He's not even red pill. He's actually blue pill. Okay. Because I was listening to it. He asked, what do you guys really want? We want to be loved and cared for. Okay. That means it has nothing to do with sex. Actually, you want to be genuinely cared for and loved and desired by a woman that you want. And that's what's happening with incels. They're not really incels. They're voluntarily celibate. Almost like spoiled children.
So do you think incels want the dime pieces, or they want like the mousy girl next door? It's like a hot programmer.
Depends
Yeah,
on
like
the instant.
they want a cute programmer. Okay, they don't necessarily want the hot girl because they know that's unattainable. But the cute little programmer, a cute little nerdy chick that wants and desires them. That's what they really want.
so
But
that's
guess
why,
what
like,
happens? She
But
chasing around tons of T-Tar.
but they're
Listen.
but a lot of these guys are a lot of these guys they say they're incels. It's tough out there. The 80-20 rule. I always ask them, how do you prove that? Well, Twitter says, or basically, my dating app said. I said,
Yes, always some online shit.
so always some online shit. I said, have you ever actually gone out and actually tried to prove it in the real life? Well, no. I said, okay, so you have approach anxiety. That's what's wrong with you.
So BGS. That's why, like, if you look at the highest grossing platform when you're talking about females, and if you get into that, like, or whatever, that's why the Twitter. I mean, my bad. The Twitch gamer chicks, actually make way more money than porn stars.
Yes, they do.
They make way more money. The only thing they do is sit up there and even sometimes they just talk with they boo, like, with the cleavage out, and they just talk and they halfway play a video game. The cosplay chicks, like, they go to these anime festivals, they make way more money.
I'm going to BlurCon. I'll be taking pictures.
I'm happy you said that halfway play video games. They know what they're doing, bro. They know what they're doing.
The guys don't care. They just want attention from a woman that they desire. And some of that is they're women actually are very good at actually matching a man's imprint. Okay, they study what men actually like. That's how come all the IG models look the same. They study what men like and they try to match their looks to what they see.
Exactly. That is exactly
Agreed.
correct. That's why I put the Kim Kardashian motif as like
Yeah.
the most popular
Oh yeah.
sort of look
If
right
if
now.
if you match my octane scale with cousin Tita's Faye, it was a female octane group,
Yeah.
man. You have
Yeah.
a killer. You have a actually killer insight to women's psychology. You do.
Right. And it's funny that you mentioned that. You know, whenever that live materializes with Charles Falker, we'll talk about how women, because I did NFL security for the Bears, for the Vikings, and for the Bills, the Buffalo Bills, and the women would actually stalk the players. They would know their stats. They would know their contracts. They would know like different components of their contracts. Like the women who would go from state to state and to different meetups and clubs would have a better scouting report, than the NFL guys. They would study how these rookies and these sophomore these second year players will move around so that they can be in their space and be exactly what they want when the time comes up. And it's a huge game. It's a huge game.
Here's the thing, right? And another thing with have any of y'all watched the No Jumper podcast like on YouTube?
No,
I haven't.
Okay,
What's that? Adam 24. Whatever his
I
name
watched
is?
a
yeah,
little
Adam
bit of it.
24. Yeah, okay. So he always does this thing, and this girl named Selena Kyle, whatever her name is, right? She's pretty much a socialite thought, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
Best kind.
she be like doing the most, right? She be doing the most. Like she be talking about the Trey Songz and all of them and Corey Lanes and how she was barred out of a club because of what she was doing and whatever. But if you actually sit up there and you actually listen to that No Jumper, and she don't got no shame or nothing when she's talking, right?
Okay.
If you actually look at that No Jumper thing, that will give you a big insight, paired with BGS and what Cousin T Talk is talking about, when you hear it out the horse's mouth, like right there.
What's your girl's name, cousin Tita? That's married to the football player down in Florida.
Miko Grimes.
Miko.
Yeah.
Oh, Miko.
She crazy.
Be talking a whole bunch of shit, but she's on point though.
Listen. All I gotta say is, man, if I ever get the chance, that will be a shot that was shot. Seriously, like she definitely is.
She's so chill. She comes out so genuine to me.
She's an athlete. She's a former athlete. So
and she stayed trying to bring a second woman into their bedroom, but Grimes is like, nah. I'm like, come on, man.
He's square, man. Grimes is square.
I'm like,
that's what she loves about him, because he is square.
Well, then you gotta. But that's what I was saying is like, there's also that there's the rules, right? There's the rules. You know what I mean? Like it's different when you by yourself and you moving around, but when you married, there's the rules when it comes to that. There's a whole different. You know what I mean? And
if you want to stay married.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to, like, Eddie, I want to have fuck you, Mr. Fuck You Man. Like, you don't want that to happen. You know what I'm saying? You end up like Tyrese again for the second time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
But especially with a marriage at that level, they laid out the terms and conditions, before they signed that contract, before they went into business together, because it's definitely a business. They knew about wanting a child or whatever. They knew about whatever social activity they were going to have, their friends, their family, what they're going to put aside for their son, for his future. Once they hit those benchmarks, once they, and she played her role, he gives her free reign. She checked all those boxes for him, and he definitely does the same for her. So beyond that, I mean,
if you look at like people talk about Lori Harvey right now, right?
Oh wow.
And all the guys that she's dating. I said you got to remember she's just a chick dating in her class. That's all she's doing.
Yeah.
She's not doing anything exceptional. She's not doing anything different than a regular chick would do. It's
Mhm.
just she's dating guys in her class. It happened to be famous. That's all.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think a lot of men project onto Lori Harvey their fantasy, like,
Yeah.
you know, virtuous woman who is gorgeous, you
Mhm.
know, got a father figure that's you know, the preacher, you know,
Yeah.
she's basically like the preacher's daughter,
Preacher's daughter.
and
Yeah.
Yep.
women and men project their own fantasy onto her,
You,
and
you
go
got to
ahead.
remember her father. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, her father was a high level drug dealer. If I'm not mistaken.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
that's not her real
Her
daughter.
mom's, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I don't know how much you can expect about being virtuous when her mama wasn't that virtuous.
Oh wow, she got some bones. She got some
Was it
full
bones in the
skeletons in that closet.
closet?
Yeah.
She got full
Hey,
skeletons.
hey, you're gonna have to do a show with
There
Rob,
you
man. We actually talk about this offline, man. I want to hear that story.
go. Yeah. So,
Didn't
I,
didn't the mom
I
go
know you
from
I
one
know you
D boy
can't
to the
tell it.
next D boy?
I know you can't tell it
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Look,
absolutely. You know what? Oh my
But
gosh. Yes, yeah.
did
To answer that question, yes.
look,
yeah, and they
She's
were
the
brothers too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
What?
I don't know about that, but she is definitely the what do you call it, the drug dealer's wife, the missus, the top, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
she is a queen bee. She is a
She's
queen
Queen
bee.
Bee.
mm,
You could tell that she has the social IQ. She has the emotional IQ. She knows how to present in public. She
Mhm.
knows, you know, when to speak and when not to speak, and at what level. And if you notice, she knows how to play people around her. She knows how to move pieces into position. Um,
mhm.
she is a very interesting case study. That would be a great conversation to have right there.
Yeah, I might have to
So,
look into that. Yeah.
so it's like kind of like a I would say, what is it? More like a Queen Elizabeth archetype in like a, if you're talking about knowing how to move things around, how to strategize and move
I,
situations. She's
more,
recorded
more
like
more like Cersei, you
Cersei.
know,
Okay, Cersei.
Cersei
Yeah,
in Game
Mhm.
of Thrones. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So and but I wanted to ask, because in T Talk this, you said something that we kept going about the point of contention, which is I would say ground zero for a lot of these guys having problems, and you said the high school thing. You know what I'm saying, which is the ground zero thing. And in your opinion, and also BGS, why, you know what I mean, why is that ground zero for a lot of these guys?
Those are the formative years.
Hmm.
Those are where you get imprinted
Yes.
externally, not necessarily through sexual imprinting, but your social imprinting
Hmm.
happens during those years in high school. I mean, you get your
Yeah.
first crush, you get, you know, the first dance, the first date, or whatever,
Right.
and so you're the most impressionable
Yeah.
during those years, and your hormones basically cement, you know, this archetype or this image
Hmm. Yeah.
of, you know, the popular girl, the
In-
cheerleader.
into the pathways of your brain, and it's like it's like a lock and a key.
Mm,
Right. And man, it just because this is what happens. So the girls that, you know, all the guys wanted in high school,
Hmm.
they have the girls have their own coming of age stories that they hold inside until after college.
Hmm.
And part of being, okay, we gonna say it, part of being the other dude, or, you know,
Hmm.
the fuck buddy, or, you know, whatever,
Hmm.
mm,
means that you're privy to these stories.
Yeah.
And a
mm,
lot of young women in high school, you know, okay, so R. Kelly is not he's not an isolated incident.
no,
Okay.
of course not. Like, that was normal when we grew up. Shit, that was normal.
Yeah, but it's at the level that it plays itself out in
Mhm.
every high school in America and across the planet. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the average guy doesn't even realize. Like those
Mhm.
popular girls in high school who were 16, 15 and 16 walking with those designer handbags, their dad didn't buy them those bags.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, it was the guy in the Cadillac, the guy in the BMW, the guy in another state who sent for her,
Mhm.
and she traveled and and hooked up with them. So a
Yeah.
lot of stories.
And then and for this newer generation, it's even more so because there was a small concentration of that when I say in the 80s when we were growing up. I went to high school in the 90s, mid 90s. But since you have technology now it's a higher concentration of that. You know what I'm saying? Where, our rite of passage when we were growing up as young men was, you get that part-time job, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
you could kind of compete a little bit in that standpoint with, whatever. But now, young men can't get part-time jobs because of the economy. It's older people taking the part-time jobs. So you have no way of actually going through that passage of manhood of actually knowing what I call it, the P2 times P4 equals P equation, right? And that is, provisions times, squared times protection to the fourth power equals P, which is peace of mind, a piece of pussy for most of these dudes. You know what I'm saying? So if you can't provide and you're not young enough to protect anything, right? You know what I'm saying? You're too young to protect anything. You don't have access to the pussy or the peace of mind. You know what I'm saying?
I would even throw an enhancement in there or a
Mm-hmm.
multiplier in there,
Mm-hmm.
because I would say between high school and college is where females develop that dual mating strategy, basically, because they're still teenagers, and so they want to experience getting with the captain of the football team, the captain of the basketball team. They want to experience that youthful passion. But on the other
Mm-hmm.
side, they have access to grown ass men, including teachers, who will, like you said, show them that provisional side of
Yes.
intimacy.
Yeah.
So
And then, like you said, like the high school captain, he's the protection basically, right? And like you said, the teachers or the grown men or
Not
whatever,
only the
they're
protection, but he's also the status.
the
yeah,
status, right?
yeah, he's a
But
status, right?
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? If she's messing with this guy, then she'll only get approached by guys of that caliber or higher. Anybody else would know their pecking order, right? So then you have the provisions that's outside of that, so have you. So and the reason why I say squared is with the provisions is with provisions squared is you have to provide for yourself and you got to provide for whoever you're trying to be with. But so everything that you provide for, you have to have double layers of protection,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's why it's P to the fourth power. So if you have a child now, it's like P to the third power, and and it goes on and on and on, right? And that's what I said. I totally agree with you with that. And you always hear that point. You know what I'm saying? I kind of figured that, but I'm glad there's other people that see what it is, and you're putting it out there. That's where it all starts really from. Is when you hear these stories, it always goes back to high school. That
Yeah,
that that trauma.
it's
That it
not
goes
only
back to
that.
high school.
It's not only that, but it's also delusions of grandeur.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of these people look at a lot of these shows. Like, we went to high school together, so you know how a lot of these shows people think that high school was supposed to be this fun, magical time, but that rarely even happens. So you get a lot of these. I guess BGS said, self-celibate incels
Yes.
who
Mm.
get upset about the pecking order. Like everybody ranks somewhere. Like shit. Like I guess it's different in Baltimore because even ugly niggas weren't going without pussy.
Mm.
So so I just don't see it where they have this like ideal, like I want this girl who's good at anime and this, that, and the four.
Yeah,
And then
but they don't want to do anything for it. That's the only
yeah,
problem.
Yeah, yeah,
they don't want to
Yeah.
they don't want to do anything for it, and two, they don't rank up for it.
yeah.
It's
It-
like you
it-
you might have to be in shape, you might have to put deodorant on, you might have to shower, you might actually have to dress like somebody, you might have to do a push-up or three.
Yeah.
There's and a lot of those guys do not understand there's a physicality aspect too.
Mm-hmm.
Like
yeah.
you got to be able to attract what you're trying to get.
Yeah, I mean,
It's,
you have to make the product look good. If you're gonna
uh-huh.
basically you're selling yourself. So if you're
Yeah.
out there
Like
trying to sell yourself, you got to spice up the product. Got to
And
put the
and
packaging together.
and I think a lot of those movies and shows give a lot of guys the false sense of
Oh, yeah.
like the
Women,
You'll
Karate
never
Kid and
get
shit.
her at the end.
yeah, women too. That's where the body positivity comes from. You're trying to
Man, fuck
sell.
that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah. That's where they're
And I
trying to
think
sell it. They're trying to sell acceptance to the women.
No
I think the
bitches
resentment comes from
allowed.
the resentment
Somebody's trying to
really
get in.
out. Oh, that was just me. I'm just trying to say the resentment really starts in middle school. It really accelerates in high school and in college. And that's why it's interesting for me to be in my mid-30s and you
Mhm.
still hearing people with high school trauma. I'm not joking with y'all when I say I was dating a girl and she remembered the niggas that didn't want her when she was
Yeah,
16. She's
yeah,
my age at 34 years old and she still remember that shit. That's crazy.
yeah.
Well,
Like
yeah.
the
She's
Oh,
still
resentment is that
because
old.
that's very common. The thing is
because she
that
still
Yeah.
thirsts after those niggas sexually.
because you never did anything about it. It's okay.
Yeah.
You never experienced the win, never moved past it. So guess what? It's still with you. If you don't move
But
past it, it's
BJ's,
still
I
gonna be
get
with you.
that for men, but but the women are experiencing that too.
Women are worse. Okay,
Yes.
Oh,
Women
They
don't
can't
forget.
handle rejection,
they were
and
worse.
they know.
They'll carry that into their 50s and 60s. Man, they're
Yes.
worse.
ooh,
Yeah. A woman
wow.
don't listen, man. A woman don't forget Nathan,
No,
man. Like
no,
he
they don't
don't.
even forget nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the next thing is because I see the shift that's coming
Hmm.
with everything because I'm just watching from afar a little bit, just seeing how the dust settled and stuff, and after all of this, everybody's broken their different parties and whatever.
Uh-huh.
For space, like where do they go from? Where do everybody go from here, right? Because you know what is being said is facts. It's like accepting, this is how life is. I'm like, stop bitching and whining about it. Like, just, what I mean, like, you can only control yourself to a certain degree. So I'm like, what do you guys feel about this? Like, where do the men go from here getting this information?
The thing is not getting it because it's out there. You can get it if you want to. The biggest and cousin teacher I can speak to is actually getting them to actually take action on it.
Mm.
That's the
Right.
hardest part.
Internalizing it, maybe.
No, it's not. And basically, okay, you can actually set it out for them and say, I'm gonna break it down into components and subcomponents. If you start with this and graduate to this and this and this, you can actually get it done. But the thing is, they have to believe it in their mind that they can actually get it done, and they don't. They don't take action. That's the hardest part.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's a result of the developed world, a post industrialized world where
Mhm.
most things are seemingly a point and click away,
Yeah.
but biology always wins. Nature
Hmm.
will always show and prove. If you don't have it in you, you won't get it done. You do not eat what you don't kill in nature, and
Hmm.
that's proving itself.
Yeah.
Facts.
Mm. Yeah, and
Man,
that's and I
I'm
think
sorry. I'll go after you.
yeah, I think really I think what it has a lot of that has to do with these guys because this dynamic has been going on ever since they started cohabitating the school systems where the boys weren't separated from the girls when teaching
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think the change with this is that society in itself lowered the standards with this no child left behind thing,
Yeah.
participation trophies for
Yeah.
everybody. Like you get a
It,
ribbon, you
that's
get a ribbon.
because it's inherently female.
Mm.
Female want consensus, man. Men want competition. And
Mm.
that's what happened. They made a school system for women. Women feel bad if they don't get a trophy or get a participation certificate, right? They actually changed the whole system for women, not men.
Now, and you're right about that, and because I did notice when I was on Twitch, they started saying these are the banned words.
Yeah.
And the banned words was I think it was simp, I think it was incel, and it was another word too.
Mhm.
And the guy was breaking it down, and he said, "Well, the reason why these words are banned is because they make money. The females that's on there actually make more money than the male content creators. And
Yeah.
if you're in there calling them these names, you will shame them into not paying said money.
Yeah.
And it's a money making platform. Even and let the men understand that." Women are the top consumers. They spend the most money because
Yeah.
they outnumber
Mhm.
you.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
facts.
What platform did you say those words were banned on?
Twitch.
Twitter. Oh,
Twitch.
Twitch.
Okay, okay,
Twitch.
okay.
Yeah, on Twitch. Yeah, you can't type it in the chat. You'll get banned. They'll ban your account or
Yeah,
whatever.
but
Automatically.
there's a lot of simps in Twitch. That's why.
Yeah. I'm like the whole. I mean, I'm like, but
Can't
by
say simp and Twitch. Ain't that a bitch?
No.
but see, this is the thing where a lot of people a lot of people don't understand, and this is the thing a lot of men have to understand is you are outnumbered. Like men whole are outnumbered by women.
Yeah.
And then when you go into the demographic of black men, there's a map, if you type in per capita how many black men versus black women, in some places it's 6-1.
Yeah.
Like when you talk about black men versus black women, and they talk about Houston, right? Houston, you go down to Houston, you just fall into something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They compete in Houston. They
Yeah.
compete. Okay.
Yeah, like so if you take a black man, and we just talk about black women, now take women. Period. So if a black man in Houston is almost 6-1 outnumbered, right?
Yeah.
Then let's take and then black people aren't the dominant population, where if you get down in there, you got black people in Houston, but you got a rising Latino population, right? And then you're talking about, then you got to throw in the LGBTQ element into it, right? So now you're looking at a bigger graph that you are now outnumbered, let's just say 10 to 15-1.
Yeah.
Right. Now the top end women, like you said, like BGS is saying, like the octanes and the diesels or whatever. But let's just say between the 7.5s, right? Let's just say the 7.5, or that what you was called average women or whatever when you talk about look, what I mean, all accomplishments, right?
Yeah.
There's no excuse, and you know what I mean, for you not to run into something unless it's not what you want, and then you choose to do it like you were saying with the emotional aspect.
Yeah.
With that, you know what I'm saying, and that's what it basically boils down to. So what I mean, you crying and complaining because you went to McDonald's and you want pizza, and they don't sell pizza at McDonald's.
Yeah, that's the issue I've been running, because I always walk the guys through their dating life and see why they rejected certain women that actually were feeling them. It's always an excuse. Yeah.
Well, BGS, I can't get any women to accept me for who I am.
Yeah, basically, you've been raised by your mama. You think you're a woman and you're not.
Hey, but real quick, I appreciate y'all letting me on the panel, BGS. Yo, nice talking to you, T-Talk. Yo, Charles, Europe, and Woo, and everybody else. It's almost 2:00 in the afternoon over here on the Tuesday. Happy past MLK Day. You know what I'm saying? And to the rest of y'all, man, peace.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna go about 20 more minutes anyway, because this is just supposed to be hour stream, and we're almost at 3. So
yeah, every time you say that, I'll be like, stop lying, nigga.
No, we're going 20 more minutes because we're already overtime. So because the T-Dog here, and so it's a special occasion. So we don't get the alpha wingman to come out of the shadows very often.
I'm really looking forward to this behavioral sync video that you and Nameless are supposed to be putting out. I really am looking forward to it.
You know what? I have 2 PDFs that were studies on the out of wedlock birth rate that's massive in
Colombia.
Well, Colombia is one, and I think the other one is which is one? It's not Peru. It's another one.
Venezuela.
No. I have to look at it.
Chile.
Chile.
There we go. Boom.
It
was Chile.
You can't hit a woman. You can't hit a woman with.
But the thing is,
you can't hit a woman with.
What they point to is environment. That's one thing they point to. How come in Chile, the out of wedlock birth rate. Now Colombia out of wedlock birth rate is at like 85%.
Yeah.
Chile is.
Will
like
you be
75.
referring to that on that video?
When we actually do it. Okay.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah, I mean the black
I'm a nag
female
Nameless
birth
next
rate
time
is
I
actually
hear from
topping
him.
off.
But
I'll be the kid in the backseat. Are we there yet?
There's some of that's what it points to. Especially with in patriarchal countries like China, Korea, and Japan. Basically, they still have strict culture, but the thing is, their birth rate is going down. Their marriage rate is plummeted. Their birth rate is down. So, and they haven't made that adjustment because they don't believe in out of wedlock birth rates.
Isn't that a catch-22 though, BGS, in many respects?
It
when
is.
You don't believe in out of wedlock birth rate, and your people are having kids later and later.
worse than a catch-22 is a Kobayashi Maru. No win situation.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because when I went there was not a lot of women, and all the women that you've seen already had children and
Yeah.
are already running the business. So
Yeah.
they snatch them up really
Yeah.
quick. And like you don't see a woman by herself; she always has a man with her over there.
A man
Yeah,
with her,
you know, this is
basically they have a big extended family.
Yes, yes,
yeah, and
exactly.
this is gonna be taboo to say, but I was at the
Since when?
barbershop.
Since when?
Well, I am no this yeah, you know how these niggas are with the petty shit. But I was talking to a dude that I worked with like years ago. I saw him at the barbershop maybe like a couple months ago, and he's from Nicaragua. So he ended up going back to Nicaragua. You gotta
Okay.
understand that I mean, we all understand this, but this is for them. I'm not saying for us, but for them amongst each other, the laws are slightly different as far as so a lot of these women are getting hit up when they're 16, 17 at younger
Yeah.
ages because of
Illegal.
Yep.
Illegal. Yeah.
Yep.
huh?
Latin men don't play. They pounce on a woman early.
The
Well,
Assistant can have
yeah,
a
and
baby
then
down
and
there.
the age gaps don't matter either. And again, I'm not
Nope.
saying this is like an advertisement for black men to go down there. I'm talking about how they deal with each other as talking about the
most of the world does the same thing. America
Yep.
and Western Europe is different. The age
yeah.
of the federal age of consent, look it up, is still 12 years old.
So, yep.
So it's just recently in the 20th century that they actually upped the age of consent to 18 years old. It hasn't been that long.
And a lot of that has to do with this power dynamic, this sexual politics bullshit. Women, the sexual politics in the rest of the world is not like you said, it's not the same in the West because of the feminism and how deep it is. This is why when people
it's really, really simple. Don't overthink it. Because I asked the same thing in Ghana when they were actually going through the transition. Why are you raising the age of consent to 18 instead of 12? He said so that the girls can finish high school instead of being married off. That's why. It's not that you don't have to overthink this. It has nothing to do with feminism.
No, okay, so yeah, absolutely. That's the short answer. And I'm not going to go into the long
It's
answer.
not even short. It's not even short. That is the answer. Okay. If you want the women to be educated, you got to stop them from being married, because once they get married, they won't be educated. So
no, okay,
Well,
I
the studies
understand
do
that.
show that the
But
more educated a woman is,
but
the
this
less
is
likely she is
I'm
to have
just going to
children,
add this and then I'm going to leave.
Yeah.
and the fewer
I'm going to add
children.
this and I'm going to leave. You
okay.
got motherfuckers out here that will say that if you like you heard it, women and men, they will call 25, 26-year-olds girls. It's
Yeah.
this like artificial trying to I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about the culture where they try to raise the age. It's taboo for men to date. If you date a woman that's older than 10 years or younger than 10 years, it's taboo. And they do that, and it's gonna get worse because and this is why you really got to jump on the dudes and try to play that game as far as talking that shit. Because as these women get older and there's more of them get leftover women and they're trying to compete in that marketplace, that is going to get louder and louder and louder in which they're going to try to pull that shit.
Okay. I mean, there's I actually did it in one of my my third video on YouTube, MGTOW video called why MGTOW is dangerous. I actually pointed it out, right? We go back 70 years before the modern industrial era, the post-industrial era that we're in now, right now. The peak age for a man to get married was 21. The peak age for a woman's fertility is 23. So peak age for a woman to get married was 19. Okay, we're actually closer together. So, but a peak age of a man's worth was in his 20s, 26, right? Okay. Nowadays, because we're in post-industrialism, right? A man's peak earnings don't even start till he's 35. So, thing is, you have this big, enormous gap between her peak fertility, and your peak earnings. Okay, it didn't used to be that way, and because women have been industrialized or post-industrialized, their peak earnings, their peak worth, as far as in business, is also 31, 32, 35, right? How do you disconnect those two? They're out of sync. And
And
women
how do
are
you square that with her fertility? Ooh.
and women have been taught to actually think like as a unit, just like a man does, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically, they think that their peak worth, because that's what they've been taught, is the same as what a male's peak worth is. So they think that because they're 35, they make $100,000, and blah 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 blah, that their worth should be comparable to a man. That's what they've been taught.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah, I just came
then,
from Kevin's thing. He did the pageant shit.
Yeah,
Lord knows they believe that.
I, I,
It's interesting, the mental
I,
illness of
God knows.
I might have to I might have to revisit it. Might have to bring out the old charts and stuff like that and revisit it and go
But what
through it
kills
stuff
me
like that.
is the blue pill niggas, SWP included, that they they know this to a certain extent, but they're like, fuck that. I'm just gonna do it because reasons. I'm just gonna still
But
talk
Edward,
shit about dudes that are
how many
older.
times? But
What?
Edward, how many times do you understand? It's like a spoiled child. Are they still getting what they want?
Yeah, but basically SWP is third is a middle aged man now. He's not 25. He's 36 years old, unmarried
Yeah.
and no kids.
Mm-hmm.
He has no fight in the game.
Has no fighting again. Basically, you know, what he's talking about, what he's talking about doesn't hold water because he's not out there competing to do that. Why you talk
Uh-huh.
about patriarchy, getting married and having kids? You haven't done it yet.
He's one of
Same
those
thing with Jason
One
guys.
Black
time,
too.
one time.
Same
He's
thing
one
with
of
Jason
those
Black.
guys that he's just like in the twilight zone. I mean, he's got his own personal twilight zone that he created.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a time loop.
I mean, you can't get mad at shit when you're not competing. You put yourself. You're like Duncan McLeod. You retired from the game.
Yeah. Yeah, basically, this postmodern era. No, human beings have never gone through it before, so nobody knows how to navigate it. So the culture's not ready for it. So that's why we have women like Generation X has been taught one thing because they thought the men were going to be ready at the same time they were, and they're not. And now they're finding out my fertility's running out, and men still desire the same things they desired, you know, 1,000 years
And
You know, this
and
is
a
why I
lot of
respect
them
you
really
so much.
believe that
Give me
shit.
1 second, Ed. Give me 1 second, Ed. Give me 1 second. This is why I respect BGS. It's because BGS was one of the few people when I entered this space that kept on harking on the environment. The environment. Yes, he would occasionally talk about the individual, but the environment. And everybody else was talking about individual responsibility or shitting on black people or whatever they was doing that under the guise of constructive criticism. And that's why I
ago.
gravitated to this space here because
Yeah,
when you talk about the environment, then you can understand why the individual does what he does. That doesn't
yeah,
mean you still don't deserve responsibility for the individual things you do, but it does mean we understand that the environment does encourage certain behaviors,
yeah.
right?
Well,
You know, and I'll pause right there. My bad, Ed.
like cousin Tito, he
No,
sees this
you're fine.
on a daily basis. He sees it because he's watching these people interact. He's watching these people and see what they do. He can confirm what I'm saying. You know, that's where the angst is coming from. Go ahead, other cousin.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I was just gonna ask you, having said what you just said about the post industrial
Yeah,
space that we find ourselves in, and how the popular media and mainstream quote unquote is now angling towards the promotion of the black man.
yeah, it
In
makes
your
sense.
opinion, and you've probably had a conversation about this before, do you believe that black men are more oriented towards polyamory than other men? And in
Yeah.
this coming age, will we start to see that appear more in more formalized relationships?
Black men, because the way we were socialized, are more flexible than any other group of men on the planet. We really have no
Even
hard
black men
standards.
got their limits.
We have no hard standards or hard uh, coded ways of doing things. We're actually very flexible. That's how come we.
No fat chicks. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry, I said it out loud.
that's true. It's more than just fat chicks, right? Look at the relationship between a white woman and a black man, on like basically in a commercial or TV show. He's submissive in that relationship. He's not the dominant.
Mm-mm.
He's the one that helps wash the kids, wash the clothes, that kind of stuff, because he's been socialized to accept that kind of equity role that a lot of the modern feminists actually want. So basically, in fact, who said that? It was Liz Monday when she wrote The Rich Sex. It said, for the modern feminist white woman, the perfect man for her is a black man, because
Well,
he's less demanding, he's more flexible. The gender roles that black men choose have, the way they've been taught, is way more flexible than a white man's. Way more flexible,
yeah,
or Latino.
yeah, all that is true, but black men still have their limits. And the thing about it is, you have to enter into the
Yeah,
laws of
no, they don't.
well, you have to enter into the laws of competition. And the truth is, when you're dealing with an interracial society, I was going to ask a question about what do you think about the increase in immigration when you have these women coming in, what that's going to do too. Like, you still have to
It's
negotiate
actually
with
it's actually
like
a decrease of immigration.
The thing is that basically, for reason black men don't uh, get picked by other women, is not because they're not likable, not because they're not flexible. It's because economics and what the dominant society has basically put on black men, that they're a certain way, they're
yeah.
thugs, they're criminals, all that kind of stuff. What happens when the society takes all that away?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing about and here's so when you look at polyamory and all of that, I mean,
Mhm.
it meant there's no the market, the environment. There's no reason the environment would even like men don't have to give all that up. I mean, like the gynocracy is like the worst it's really ever gonna get. The women that are feminists, the white women you're talking about, they're coming at it from a still the perspective of them dealing with their men. So Dave Chappelle talked about how dealing with his Filipino wife, who's like from Brooklyn, how when she's going at him at like 5, when he's used to a black woman is an 8. So
Yeah,
she may think she's
Yep.
wilding out, but for
yeah,
him, that's like what it is.
it's
So
normal.
why so and yeah, so with a white woman, it's the same thing. The white woman is not expecting to not do jack shit like how black women are coming at it. They're just expecting more flexibility because they come from a more stringent situation in the first place.
Exactly,
Now,
exactly.
you'll
So,
always give like 10, yeah, so this 10 to 15.
but that's why when you take off the restrictions, they're going to be chosen.
Yeah, and so, but to throw a bone though, there's gonna be 10 to 15% of dudes. These are the same niggas that are seeding bitches now. No matter how fat they are, no matter how what they are,
So
those dudes, yeah, they'll probably be more amenable to polyamory. But guess what? They're gonna they the value they have is just with their penises anyway, and they're gonna
it,
be kept
it,
loose.
and
Now, if you look at dudes that got some economics behind them,
it also depends on the class and the amount of money, all kinds of things. It's all
The
kinds of things there.
proximity.
Proximity.
yep. So, but the dudes with economics, I mean, polygamy. I mean, look at Brother Polite. Brother Polite ain't doing no fucking polyamory. He doing polygamy. Like dudes with a mouthpiece and dudes with some sexual currency or economic currency, even if they don't have economic currency, they have sexual currency. They're not doing that shit.
But that's not the question that he asked. Are they more open to polyamory? That's what he asked, and they are.
Well, I'd say a certain percentage compared to other men, but I think that's like a
Okay, dude, how many niggas are side dudes, man? Fucking married women. What do you think that is?
I plead the fifth.
20%.
Huh?
20%.
because they're getting their biological imperative.
That's polyamory, sir.
And I
Remember, sharing means
But
caring.
okay, so hold on, because I gotta respond to that shit. So
Please,
do you believe?
please
So let's
come
say black women. So
Okay.
black women are gonna pull that shit more than any other group, in my opinion. So
Okay.
with that being said, do you really believe that's what they have in mind, or do you believe that their definition of polyamory is some niggas that are paying for everything and some niggas that they fuck?
Let me put it to you. Can I answer that, BGS?
Go ahead.
Can I answer
Go ahead.
that? These bitches are sharing niggas anyway.
What-
67% of them have children by 2 different men.
Well, Charles,
And
niggas are sharing women.
Niggas are sharing, but niggas
Yeah.
have no problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm the Tuesday
Well,
through
that's about
Thursday guy.
10% of black men.
That ain't
No.
10%.
No, hell no.
Nigga, please.
Hell no.
With all
We're
due
talking about
respect.
just having babies with all these
No,
shit.
No. It's not even the babies,
Charles.
Edward.
Hold on, Charles. Look, we're not talking about having kids. We're talking about fucking. Okay. Straight up fucking being a concubine. The black man is a concubine in the United States. Okay. He fucks married women. He fucks women with boyfriends. A woman can have a string of dudes, and they're all fucking her.
Yeah.
Okay, we're open to that. We always have been open to that.
But other dudes are doing that too.
As a matter of
Come
fact,
from
you pride yourself
slavery,
on
man.
that.
It's been in our
And
culture.
I get what you're saying, but if you're just gonna hold it to just fucking, then there's dudes that fuck black women and then they're fucking other women.
That's probably what he asked. Are black men open?
All right.
Open.
If
Open.
that's how you gonna define. I mean, I ain't got nothing to say if that's how you gonna like roll it like that.
Edward, you ever heard of the term Project Twins?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard of that before.
Yeah.
Basically, cousin T-Tar is actually saying something he observes on a daily basis.
By definition, I mean, by definition, black people have been doing in America have been doing that.
Is polygamy and polyamory legal in the United States?
No, not right now.
I'm asking Edward.
Yeah,
is it legal?
I don't see it being legal. I don't see how they would create a formal
Edward, it's not the question I asked you, sir. Edward,
no, it's not.
What I asked you.
No,
okay,
it's not legal.
It's not legal. So how do you practice it when it's not legal?
All right, I got you. Well, what the fuck they doing now?
Yeah, I mean, like my sister, man, she had a guy, regular guy, college educated. He got her pregnant, and then he was with another chick on the side, got her pregnant at the same time.
But that's polygamy, yeah.
It's literally point blank polygamy, but it's just not organized.
In fact, my subs, one of my subs actually sent me basically a study, right, about what was the paternity test, right? They said, guess who has the most false paternity test amongst all the groups of men? Guess.
Black men.
Black men. That means your bitch is fucking more than one dude, man.
Yeah.
We already.
Isn't it something like a quarter or 20% or something like that?
Let's try. Let's try 80.
No,
I remember the study.
That's where BGS gets to the 80%.
BGS Patreon.
Hey, what is that? Cousin T-Tar. Am I
No,
close?
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Cousin T, am I close?
Very much so. But I think you made a really, really interesting point when you asked the question about polygamy being legal or not. But I think in the broader sense of the subject moving forward, if the focus is going to be on black male leadership,
right?
If we're oriented towards polyamorous relationships and polygamy is going to service a lot of the social ills that are coming up, wouldn't it be sufficient to speculate that if we're driving the course of how the culture is working, won't we drive the course of the laws? You
know what, the shift is moving back toward the clan, right? But extended clan. And what black women really want is an extended clan. They want to fuck who they want to fuck, have babies or who they want to have them by, and they have the clan take care of them.
Right, which is the child.
Which is what they're doing right now.
Yep, grandma, grandpa.
What they doing? They're doing that. Well, they doing that with the help of the law. There's a reason you have 50% of black men that are not having kids. That's a non-starter. And see, where nobody enters into this conversation, which is really the basis of my disagreement, is the economic factor. The dudes that are producers are not going for that.
Well, why are they fucking broke niggas then?
Yeah, what
exactly? Because the dudes that are producers are not going for that.
They're fucking everybody.
Yeah,
the producers are not getting them pregnant. That's the only difference.
Polygamy.
No, I agree. I get I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, when you talk about the clan thing, that's I want my cake to eat it too. Producers are not like, if you let's say it like this. This is how you really do it. Take the government out of it. Let's pretend child support was elite. Child support was not mandated like this. Because that's when you really get to how this shit really gonna go down. Because
Clan.
right now the government is making shit kind of happen the way women can get away with it right now. A lot of that polyamory bullshit is not going to work because
Let
if
me let
dudes
me
understand the kids ain't there, they don't.
basically if you study anthropology, man, the clan is the default setting for all human interaction.
Okay,
Sure.
BGS, you the OG.
That's what's going on in Latin America right now.
He according to what Ed was
Yep.
saying, it's already happened. Such as like my grandfather, his half brother is Mayor and Barry. Why is that? Because his father in Mississippi had another woman across town before child support was ever in existence. How that dynamic worked, I mean, obviously his father went to visit, might have left money in the mailbox or whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's already happened.
And basically, and black women have always had multiple children by multiple men. Always.
Is that a new thing? You never heard of the redhead stepchild?
I understand all of that.
What part don't you understand?
What the part that I don't. So what you all are essentially saying is black men are because you got to understand too. We're assuming there's even going to be a black
point, Edward.
Get to the point, man. I'm not grabbing what your point is.
There's not just black people in this country.
I didn't say there was.
Black men are gonna walk. So yeah, when black men,
no, they won't.
When black,
they won't. No,
what?
they won't. No, they won't.
Walk.
Let me put it to you this way: as long as you got people still giving out sex and still people fucking, why are you gonna walk?
Okay, well, I'm not talking about I'm not talking about every single 100% of black men. But what I'm talking about is basically what the black community will turn into is what Brazil is. All the black people are gonna be broken poor because anybody.
What is the black community? What is the black community now?
Hey, one at a time. Stop talking with each other. God damn it.
Yeah.
What is the black community now?
It can't turn into Brazil because there's not enough of us. We're gonna be absorbed.
Yeah. So by definition, that culture of that is not even gonna come to pass.
There won't be a black community.
Exactly. So it's not even going to come to that.
But come to what?
Some black community hotel polyamory shit.
No, we're talking about the society. Period. We're not talking about just the black community.
So you talking about American society?
Yes, but that wasn't the question that he asked.
The question he asked was which more black men more open to that, and would that lead to more formalized things?
There already are.
That doesn't mean the whole society is going for that, though.
Here's my question: what do you think black men are more acceptable to?
But I've already ceded that argument, so having that is irrelevant. Now we're talking about the American society now, which gives a lot more moving parts to it.
Europe is
all right, y'all. Wait. I'm about to knock out y'all. I'm gonna try to listen to as much as I can before I knock the hell out.
We're about we're 3 hours over. I'm gonna go about 10 more minutes.
All right, BGS later.
Don't just study here. Study what's going on in Europe. Study what's going on in Latin America. It's headed that way. Okay.
No, I mean I understand. Look. This is what I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna end it with this. Here's the thing. One thing that's starting to rise with men as well. There's gonna be a scar is. One thing that women don't understand, the only thing that's keeping men from actually getting saying fuck these kids really is the government. And if you force men into situations, like that where women are just knowingly upholding your ass, that's basically what I'm hearing. Then dudes are gonna react a certain type of way too.
The thing is, you can't be cuckolded if there's other women giving you sex. In other words, it's been passed around. Okay. Very few black men are actually being cuckolded. I mean, you can be.
Well, I'm talking about American men now. Yeah, I agree with that. The black men are being cuckolded, but I'm talking about with white men. Because mainly white men is what I mean.
If there's 33% false paternity amongst black men, right? What do you think's happening? You're being cuckolded. You're being cuckolded. Okay.
You already are. Later bucks.
Yeah. But black men have always
got kids.
Black men have always been open to that, man. They've always been open to that. taking care of kids that wasn't theirs. Go back and listen to the old stories about what great grandpa taking care of the.
God, I'll pray for those men because this is why you got a 50%.
It was the reason you have 50% of men that don't have kids is because it's too expensive. It'll actually ruin your life. It has nothing to do with social, whether you're being social.
Okay, I'll give you that. It
Kids
ain't
in the
getting no
modern
cheaper
era have
though.
become more
I'll
burdensome
give
than
you that. I
beneficial.
will give you that. I will give you that. The child support laws is pretty much what set that up in the 90s.
I grew up. Basically I came of age and had kids under those laws. I know what I'm talking about. I think a lot of guys get
Exactly.
by that.
I
That's
don't
why.
disagree, but guess what? It ain't getting no cheaper.
It might. We don't know. It might. Depends on what laws they change. Just like in pass them, they can unpass them. We'll see.
Yeah, but I'll agree that I will agree if you lower the price, then yeah, you will see an increase. Because there are dudes that want kids. It's just when that cost that financially transmitted disease is too great for 18
Exactly.
years. I'm seeing niggas like Corey Holcomb get 52, 53 years old before my barber, same thing. I know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest reason. That's the biggest deterrent. That's like black men actually wear more condoms, use more condoms than any other race, and black women actually use the least amount of birth control. Make that make sense?
Because
Just like
you
black
telling
women have
me
the highest standards.
you telling me they don't know they have an advantage?
You know what they do, but the thing is, they actually took down that study from the University of Iowa after they put it. It was up there for like maybe a year. They took that bad boy down.
Ooh. Oh, Brittany
They
Cooper.
can take it down all they want.
Where's Brittany Cooper with a sex
They
strike?
don't like the information out there. They took it down.
Well, it's over.
Time.
Yeah, it's like it's over now because the information's getting out there. Like now with the academics and stuff, it's getting out there irregardless of what they do. God help folks if we actually start self-funding our academics and people like Kevin and stuff like that. But I'll say this: one of the things that Kevin's alluded to this is these white women and these non-black Latin women. They are watching shows like Kevin's show. They're like, this shit can't be. These bitches can't be this stupid.
Yes, they can.
And a lot of these women are like in this. I've talked to some of them. They don't believe that black women are actually this fucking dumb. They really don't. They kind of know, but they don't know.
They're not dumb. They've been so socialized over so many years. They can't change that fast. They'll change, but won't be fast enough. They're trying to change. They can't change fast enough. It's ingrained in their psyche. That's all they know.
Because here's the thing: I would have never calculated back when we were having the Coliseum days. I would have never believed that, and I'll say you full of shit if you would have said it back then. I would have been one of them niggas that need to be one-on-one. That the society would act like like America would actually open the gate for black men. To make it more amenable. I would have never thought that.
I told you that 5 years ago. You could see
I didn't hear it.
And wait,
because I would have said it.
You didn't believe it. That's all. You heard it, but you didn't believe it. I told you that 5 years ago.
I must have missed those sessions.
No, you heard it. You just didn't believe it.
No, I heard you say we'd be absorbed. I didn't hear that they would open the doors for black men, particularly. I always thought that they would do it for black women and white people.
If you want them to be absorbed, how do you do it, Edward?
I mean, the smart way is to go for the black men, not the because white men ain't gonna put black women like that. But
if you want them to be absorbed, what do you have to have to open the doors for them, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, and like I said, the Latin shit. Like I said, man, it's. I feel sorry for the lingual black men. I really do.
I don't feel sorry for them because it is
to a certain extent the shit that they gonna have to deal with.
I don't feel sorry. I don't feel sorry for them.
I remember BGS actually a couple years. It's actually when Cerulean was on the Coliseum talking about like Blake Griffin, how that's going to be the future model for children. Black father and white mother create a whole bunch of Blake Griffins out there. Yeah, even with Alonzo Ball. So yeah, he's been saying it.
I've been saying it. He's been
saying it for a while. He said they're going to start letting it happen.
And a lot of niggas feeling some type of way about that shit because they already setting it up to like keep them more in the white side. Yeah. So you look at how Mahomes' contract is and how he's covered versus like other like a Lamar Jackson's cover.
He's earned his contract.
Hey, I mean, he's a
Yeah, he
Super
earned
Bowl
it.
MVP. He put up numbers, dude. Come on,
Put up
man.
numbers. It doesn't
No,
matter.
I mean still, man, 10 years, that's crazy. I
He
mean,
earned his
Mahomes is
contract.
good.
Would you let a fucking quarterback like that go?
They won you a Super Bowl. Come on.
In the second year
I'm not
starter, so
debating
yeah.
that. You know, I'm not debating that.
You
I mean,
can't.
this, don't get me started on football. This has been crazy.
And
Anyway,
the Bears could have got him, believe it or not.
Yeah, they could have.
Oh yeah, well because
Steelers
the Bears,
wanted him, man.
because of racist
we only got
owners.
we only got
Right.
10 more minutes. So if you haven't gotten in, you want
The
to get
Bears
in.
could have got Lamar Jackson too, by the way.
Yeah, okay.
But
You
those
already know.
racist
Hold on a second.
owners-
People have not gotten in. They only got 10 more minutes. Please get in if you want to get in.
Yo,
Yeah,
shout
let me
out
jump
to
in real
Joe
quick.
Yeah, I'll
Rogan.
pop off so y'all could yeah, I look forward to that, you know, kind of thing to be added on to the you know, the chart.
I'll add it.
look forward to that
I'll
video.
add it to the to-do list. It's already like a mile long. But I'll do it.
My God.
Oh, it was one final thing I was gonna say. I was telling people,
It's never
I was
final.
telling people because people have been sending me screenshots of women begging for money, Archer, and it like so and people begging for. I got a couple screenshots of women chats they're begging dudes for money in the messenger. I said you need to forward that shit to BGS.
Send it to me. Yeah, I've been telling you guys that for 2 years. I told you right after COVID, man. What I said about coffee money. I've been saying it. Less than the price of coffee.
That's a fucking presentation for your last.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And, BGS, you full of shit. It never gonna go down that low. Blah 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 blah. Okay, man. All right.
Dude was like, hey, so I was like, damn, chick, you can't say how you been. I ain't seen you since freshman year. You just jump straight to the money.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get worse because the teacher probably sees it all the time. He's got stories. He ain't saying nothing, but he got stories.
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Jump in now, please do.
Evening. What's up going on, BGS and panel? Question for the guest of honor, Cousin T. Appreciate your content, man, and so it's good to see you come around. I always was curious. What's your, I guess, and maybe you can help me with kind of articulating or maybe flushing out the question a little bit, but always was curious as far as your thoughts or maybe advice on friendships with women. And I guess I'm coming from the angle, I kind of noticed like even myself in the past and the segment of the guys, there's always kind of that maybe apprehension or fear of, all right, is it even worth developing this friendship because I may develop feelings and then, you know, the whole friend zone situation.
Are you attracted to her?
So I've had situations where I wasn't initially attracted to the woman, but over time, you know, getting to, you know, chill with her, know her personality, it's like, all right, yeah, I would want something more. I've been in that box.
You have to make an. I'll let teacher actually answer, but the thing you have to make a hard decision. Okay, do you have friends or lovers? Make a choice. What is she, and keep it consistent.
Yeah. And I've struggled because you got to make that decision kind of in the beginning. You know what I mean?
You have to be hard coded.
Yeah.
How the hell did you develop feelings?
You can develop feelings. We have to resist that temptation. Because
what are those?
Once you go down that path, you will always.
T, you know, Cousin D, just coming from you know, your side of things. What kind of was your general take on that? I know you kind of have the wing woman aspect as well.
I would have asked the same question if you're attracted to this woman, because my position on that is if you remain in a friend zone with a woman that you're attracted to, that's tantamount to abuse, and it's only going to go downhill for you mentally and emotionally, and you're going to actually start to resent her because women know when you want to fuck. That's just biology, and depending on what she wants to get out of that dynamic, you know, an emotional tampon, you know, a couch mover, you know, a chauffeur, whatever, that's just going to pile on more of that resentment from your perspective. So if you found yourself catching feelings for her, definitely make that known as soon as possible and be willing to walk away from that, because anything less than that will be abuse. You'll be heaping unnecessary abuse upon yourself.
Okay. How do you utilize I guess, that element of the wing woman.
But you want to position her to be your wing woman.
Right.
Talk about sex early and often.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yo, shout out, brothers, man. Shout out to Master Teacher, man. Yo, cousin T-Tar, what's good, man? Shout out to you, brother.
Shout out to you, man. You sound like Biggie Smalls.
yo, yo, everybody says that. Everybody says it. But yo, I just wanted to, talk to the panel real quick, man. Like for me, man, I'm the mix of, I was a nerd with a football player's body. And for me, one of the things that I don't understand is that, we've all gone through red pill rage, but I went through red pill rage within the marriage, not within the game itself, right? And so the issue is, when you're out there in the game, you win some and you lose some. And for what a lot of guys, what I never understood was that why don't you just bang within your tribe? Like, for example, like when I was in junior high, right? My first girlfriends, the guys on the panels heard me say this before. My first girlfriends were like nerdy foreign girls, right? So when I got up in class and explained the Industrial Revolution and economics and how it worked, and I saw all those Asian and African girls with starry eyes looking at me, that's just what I rocked with, right? So I never had problems with women because I was okay with the fact that, I could get along with the skinny Chinese girl that played first violin. So, and then when it came to American girls, for the most part, what I learned was because of my physique, as long as I stayed quiet, they'll be willing to roll, right? Because I had the body, but once my mouth opened, right, it just wasn't compatible with what they had going on. So at the end, yeah. And so for me, at the end of the day, or what I would want to share with brothers in the panel is, when you rock out with your tribe, right? I don't think that you see all these issues that many of us talk about. And like I said before, the only time I had quote and unquote red pill rage with a woman was just due to an unsuccessful marriage, not necessarily not with the game itself.
Yeah, my initial response to listening to your scenario, and what I would advise other guys coming up in a similar situation is to establish your roster as soon as possible. A man with a football player's body with an intellectual mind, I mean, you're a diamond in the rough, and you need various women to service your various appetites, because you not only have an appetite for intellectual pursuits, but you also have an appetite for cultural pursuits, physical pursuits. You need a swole mate. You need a person who can get tickets to a show, and there's no woman that has all of those things. But as long as you are self-aware and you have developed your masculinity to a place where you can manage multiple relationships with women, definitely have a roster. You'll find that you'll be more satisfied that way, and you'll actually learn more about life in general, because different women bring different perspectives in their own way. So.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm peace. Yeah, I've been down that road, cousin T, and like I said, I feel you, but I just think that a lot of guys will save themselves grief if they, like I said, if they stuck with their tribe, or if you're looking to work your way up into something else, start with your tribe and gain a skill set first. Get some momentum behind you, and then climb the ladder.
One thing
I think athletes understand that better than most people about how to gain skills. Go ahead.
One thing I can say is I can never be monogamous again. Because I pretty much look at it, and I was gonna ask you, pretty much. I mean, Western monogamy is the woman is typically the dick police. She is your
better be.
designated. She's your designated penis police.
She better be, because normally the assets and resources follow a man's dick. So
yeah,
a weak man, yes, absolutely. That's a very good point. A weaker man, but that's what a post-industrial society does to men. You know, especially in a society, a liberal society that elevates, you know, the feminine presence. You know, we got office buildings, we've got indoor plumbing and HVAC, right? So women are feel more comfortable in predominantly male dominated spaces, but at the same time, men are in those same air conditioned offices. Men aren't required. The majority of men aren't required to actually move the gears that service the machine of society. They're sitting in the same air conditioned offices next to the women who have been newly liberated. So they men are not fully expressing the holistic dynamic of what it means to be a masculine man either. So women are cut off from a portion of their biology, and men are cut off from a portion of their biology. So it's an interesting time. But
All
I
right.
agree. I agree. You shouldn't be monogamous.
You asked the wrong man.
Even if you're married, don't
That's the
do it.
wrong man about monogamy. Okay, he's not the one you should ask. Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, it's about that time. So thank you, cousin T-Tar. You want anything you want to add, pimp, before we leave?
Thank you very much for having me. There were a lot of great topics that were brought up over the course of this live stream. I gotta review it because there's so many other discussions that could come from this. But just to put the thought out there, in terms of black male leadership going forward and that being promoted, how that's going to change and shape the landscape and the environment, and what is value going forward.
Yeah.
Like what we search within ourselves as valuable, is that going to be the driver of what society values?
Yeah. Yeah, that and then basically the environment is going to actually dictate all of that, because we're going into a technocratic society, and we've never done that before. So I actually no idea how it was actually going to work in the society. None.
Okay.
It's a grand experiment.
Cousin T-Tar's being
Cousin
T-Tar's being a little modest, but I'll just say this. I mean, definitely check and subscribe to his channel.
Oh yeah,
but his Patreon, he kind of cracks the door on that shadow world, and it's definitely worth the bread.
It's not for public consumption. You have to go behind the wall. Go ahead, Charles. Charles, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was like, cousin T-Top, I put my email and my number in the back chat. Can we do good business with you?
Just send it to me. I'll actually forward it to him.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else? Going once? Going twice? All right. Thanks to cousin T-Talk. Thanks to the panel. It's supposed to be an hour. We actually went out. Like I said, it's a stream about nothing. Like Seinfeld. Okay. So this is the way it winds up. Next time, be on time, Sandor.
Yeah, no doubt, Master Teacher. Look, if the sun just came up on this side.
Okay, all right.
Well, it's
Okay,
been up for a little bit.
You're forgiven then. You're forgiven then.
Yeah.
So thanks everybody for participating. And I will see you guys next time. So peace.
Peace.